Chapter 197. Hearing Yu Yang's method, Yu Bing's face turned red from excitement. She asked happily, "Will this really work?" Yu Yang had never tried it before, so he couldn't be sure. However, he patted his sister's head and encouraged her. The Taurus temple was similar to the Aries temple, but it looked bigger. There weren't any mechanical beasts in front of them, but there was a row of ox-head stone statues. When Hui Tai Lang walked closer, those stone statues turned back into ox-head warriors. These ox-head warriors' levels weren't high, they were all bronze-ranked level 3. If Yu Bing summoned 200-years-old Treant defenders, she would probably be able to defeat them. Yu Yang left Hui Tai Lang behind, and all the ox-head warriors outside belonged to him. If it was before, Hui Tai Lang would definitely not be able to handle them. However, after the battle with Lai Lai at the foot of the Cloud Peak Lake, he had evolved into a gold-ranked ancient world-destroying demon wolf, and his strength had increased greatly. After that, even the injured giant Xing Meng was killed by him. It could be said that after 3 days, the current Hui Tai Lang was no longer the iron-backed demon wolf that entered the Aries temple in fear and trepidation. Yu Yang and Yu Bing dashed inside. The ox-head warriors roared threateningly, but they didn't attack the two of them who were protected by the protective shield. Instead, they charged towards Hui Tai Lang, who was disguised as a bronze-ranked level 3. Holding his sister's hand, Yu Yang dashed into the circular corridor outside the temple, and discovered that there were almost 100 evil eyes coming out from everywhere. Those evil eyes floated in the air, their huge eyeballs shooting out rays of white light. If it was someone else, they would definitely hide first. Furthermore, if it was a normal warrior, after clearing the first batch of ox-head warriors, the time limit of half an hour would be up. It would probably be hard for them to kill these evil eyes. Now, Yu Yang and Yu Bing had not even spent a minute before they dashed in. Almost 100 evil eyes shot 2 rounds of light from their eyeballs. When they discovered that their enemies were safe and sound, they pursed their lips and screamed, as if they wanted to use their willpower to intimidate their enemies. Yu Yang didn't feel anything, but Yu Bing's heart palpitated slightly. If she was alone, she would definitely be afraid. But now that her brother was holding her little hand, Yu Bing didn't stop and sprinted all the way into the main passage of the corridor. The evil eyes chased after them, but when they reached the entrance of the tunnel, they turned back as if they were afraid of the boss inside. Oh my God! Yu Bing, who had just rushed in, was shocked by the scene in front of her. At this moment, what appeared in front of Yu Yang and Yu Bing was a group of barbaric bulls. There were 10 gigantic bronze-ranked barbaric bulls, each of them bronze-ranked level 5. There were also 5 extremely muscular barbaric bulls. All of them were silver-ranked level 5. Furthermore, there were 2 gold-ranked level 5 barbaric bulls. They were even bigger than a normal wooden house. Each of their legs was even taller than Yu Yang. Their gigantic eyes were red, as if they were about to drip blood. They stared at Yu Yang and Yu Bing with a peculiar killing intent. These 2 gold-ranked level 5 gold-ranked barbaric bulls seemed to be mini-bosses. They each occupied a small space on both sides, and each gold-ranked barbaric bull occupied less than 10% of the space. The one that occupied 80% of the space, and had nothing around it, was the real boss. It was a white bull that was lying lazily on the ground, snoring loudly. This white bull wasn't a barbaric bull at all. It looked like it didn't have any lethality at all. On the surface, this white bull looked smaller than any of the other barbaric bulls. It didn't look like a boss at all. However, none of the barbaric bulls dared to go near it. Yu Yang's eyes were extremely sharp. He could clearly see that there was also a gold-ranked item like the golden bell on the white bull's nose. It was a golden hoop. The white bull was lazy. It ignored Yu Yang and Yu Bing's arrival and continued snoring loudly. Yu Yang realized something strange. Outside, the pressure that Tu Cheng summoned beasts, the gold-ranked level 7 ancient giant beast and gold dragon gave him, was far inferior to this gold-ranked level 6 white bull and Ares Temple's gold-ranked level 6 chimera. Not only was this white bull strong, it also gave people a feeling of intelligence. It gave Yu Yang a feeling of intelligence and spirituality. If they were to really compare, Yu Yang reckoned that Tu Cheng's gold-ranked level 7 ancient giant beast and gold dragon couldn't even compare to the gold-ranked level 7 Reaper Mantis. Their levels were higher, or at the same level, but why couldn't they compare? Was it because of strengthening type beasts? Grandma Wu Ting's words and the information in the mysterious diary suddenly flashed past Yu Yang's mind. Grandma Wu Ting had once said that only beasts with high intelligence could evolve into holy beasts and become stronger. The pitiful guy's mother had also mentioned that the more beasts broke through at the same level, the longer the cultivation period was, the greater their growth would be. If all these were put together, it could be concluded that beasts of the same level, or even the same level, would differ greatly due to different cultivation and different experiences. Although Tu Cheng's ancient giant beast and gold dragon were of superior species and higher levels, they couldn't compare to the Reaper Mantis that lived in the wild. Compared to the intelligent three-headed chimera and gold-white bull that guarded the 12 golden palaces, they couldn't compare at all. Looking at the three-headed chimera and gold-white bull, even if they weren't holy beasts, they weren't far from it. Yu Yang reflected in his heart. If beasts were like this, wouldn't it be the same for humans? Many martial artists had climbed to level 4 or even level 5 very early on, but they could never reach level 6 for the rest of their lives. On the contrary, there were some martial artists who took their time to cultivate, step by step, and steadily climbed to level 6, elder, or even higher. For example, Yu Bing, who trained hard and continuously broke through, although she was only a level 3 hero, her strength could even fight against some level 5 grandmasters. And she might not be at a disadvantage. Could this mean that warriors who trained for a long period of time would have more breakthroughs and become stronger at the same level? This point Yu Yang couldn't be sure. However, he decided to train Yu Bing like this, not letting her level up until her strength far surpassed her level, and finally break through naturally. Thinking about himself, Yu Yang felt that he had also walked this path. Bing heir, don't be afraid. Now that we have the shield, they can't do anything to us. Let's go to the left passage. Yu Yang now realized that other than the difference in levels, there was also a huge gap between beasts of the same level. There was even a huge gap between intelligent beasts and normal beasts. No wonder Grandma Wu Ting said that only intelligent beasts could evolve into holy beasts. The gold-ranked level 5 gold barbarian bull was at most 10 times weaker than the gold-ranked level 6 white bull. Now, it seemed that the difference in strength was almost 100 times. That day when they fought against the three-headed chimera, Little One Li had spent a lot of effort and almost killed the three-headed chimera, but the sheep head had recovered instantly. Now, this white bull seemed to be not simple. If Yu Yang could use his innate strength, he would definitely win. However, in the 12 golden temples of Star Domain, under the ancient code, he could only watch from the side. Furthermore, he had used too much innate strength previously. Even if he could use his innate strength here, Yu Yang would still need 3 months to recover. At first, Yu Yang thought that he would be able to finish the remaining 11 temples in one go, but now it seemed that it was impossible. At the end of the left passage, there was also a group of Oxhead warriors. Yu Yang and Yu Bing summoned their grimoires at the same time. Yu Bing summoned 200-year-old Treant defenders, but she followed Yu Yang's instructions and kept her grimoire, not collecting any battle experience. Yu Yang summoned the barbarian cow Shadow and the Bloody Queen. He couldn't summon the Bloody Queen, but Little One Li could help him. Yu Yang felt a little speechless. He actually couldn't control his own summoned beasts. Furthermore, it wasn't just the Bloody Queen. It seemed that other than Little One Li and the barbarian cow Shadow, the others weren't very obedient. The battle ended very quickly. Yu Yang didn't immediately bring Yu Bing to the right passage. Instead, he wanted to see if there were any treasures here. According to the usual practice, there should be some treasures that could help them clear the trial. Yu Yang searched around in the left hall, but other than a huge painting on the wall, there was nothing else. In the painting, there were a few ox-head warriors killing a barbarian cow. The painting was very lifelike, and the barbarian cow was using Doom's eyes. An ox-head warrior was killed by the barbarian cow's shadow stare, and its companions were angrily waving their blood-stained axes towards the barbarian cow. There was nothing wrong with the painting, and there were no traps. There were no treasures, no abnormalities, and no traps. Yu Yang couldn't understand it no matter how hard he thought about it. The half-hour time limit of the protective shield disappeared minute by minute. To Yu Yang, it didn't matter, but to Yu Bing, it was the most important protection. If he wanted to bring her to participate in more battles, he must have this absolute protective shield. The beasts outside were all barbarian cows. Being stared at by a barbarian cow was no joke. Yu Yang carried Yu Bing on his back and ran out of the left hall, directly flying past the white bull. His judgment was very accurate. Although those gold-ranked barbarian cows were extremely angry, they didn't dare to enter the white bull's territory. On the other hand, the white bull snorted indifferently and continued to sleep. The appearance of the bloody queen in the sky caused a slight disturbance in the herd of barbarian cows. The bloody queen was now platinum-ranked level 5, and she was also a platinum-ranked king beast. The invisible deterrence made the herd of barbarian cows a little uncomfortable. Even the white bull opened its eyes in its sleep. However, when the bloody queen flew past, it closed its eyes and continued to sleep. The barbarian cow's shadow also flew past. The two towering 100-year-old Treant defenders followed him clumsily. The white bull suddenly opened its eyes wide. With a glare, the 200-year-old Treant defenders flew out 10 meters away as if they were hit by a battering ram. Fortunately, the 200-year-old Treant defenders had extremely strong vitality. They were only heavily injured and didn't die immediately. They slowly got up and continued to follow their master. Yu Yang and Yu Bing had already rushed into the passage and immediately returned. Seeing this scene, they were stunned. Yu Yang couldn't understand why the white bull attacked the Treant defenders. The barbarian cow's shadow also ran past in front of it, so why didn't it attack? Time waits for no man. Seeing that the Treant defenders weren't dead, Yu Yang didn't have time to study them. He immediately carried Yu Bing on his back and entered the right hall. The bloody queen's speed was extremely fast. She had already started fighting with the ox-head warriors in the right hall. The barbarian cow's shadow soon joined in. Yu Yang carried Yu Bing on his back and stood in the middle of the chaotic battlefield. He stared dumbfoundedly at the wall of the right hall. It was a messy mural. It seemed like he had to completely restore this huge mural to the one on the left in order to activate the mechanism and obtain the treasure to clear the trial. Oh my God, don't play with me like this. Yu Yang sweated profusely. Just now, he was only focused on finding the mechanism and the flaw. Although he had seen the mural in the left hall, he didn't pay attention to the details. He didn't pay special attention to some of the small details. If the mural was not complete, he wouldn't be able to activate the mechanism and wouldn't be able to get the treasure to clear the trial. If there wasn't a time limit, Yu Yang could just run back and record it again. However, there was an hourglass on top of the mural. Just now, when the bloody queen started fighting with the ox-head warriors, the hourglass slowly turned upside down and sand continuously fell down. The hourglass definitely wouldn't last more than 10 minutes. If he wanted to run back and forth, observe the mural on the left carefully, and then run back to the messy puzzle on the right within 10 minutes, it definitely wouldn't be enough. If it was someone else, it would be even more impossible to succeed. This was because other people probably wouldn't even be able to kill all the ox-head warriors in 10 minutes. However, Yu Yang didn't want to give up. Bing Air, be careful. I'll complete the mural. The treasure to clear the trial can only be obtained after this mural is completed. Stand further away, there might be traps later. Yu Yang put Yu Bing down. He wasn't confident that he could complete the mural in 10 minutes. especially since there were many details that he didn't remember. Yu Yang only remembered that a group of ox-head warriors killed a barbarian bull. Now it was broken into pieces. Moreover, Yu Yang tried it. This kind of puzzle could only move right, up and down. It couldn't move left, which was even more of a headache. Brother, do your best. Yu Bing was full of confidence in Yu Yang. Yu Yang cursed the designer of this wall with all his might. He didn't know who was so wicked as to create such a thing to trick people. Time passed by minute. There was no time to complete the mural puzzle. Yu Yang wanted to summon a big hammer and smash the wall a few times, but he endured it in the end. He reminded himself again and again to calm down. He had to calm down now, or else all his previous efforts would be wasted. The designer wanted the challenger to lose control of his emotions, waste time, and ultimately fail to clear the stage. Since the design was made, there must be a way to complete it, and there must be enough time to complete it. It was impossible that there was no chance at all. There must be a way. Yu Yang tried to sense it, but it was useless. There was nothing special about this mural. It was just a restoration mechanism. There was no shortcut. He had to restore it 100% in order to solve it. Brother? Me? Do you need my help? Let me help you too. Yu Bing saw that her brother had stopped and quickly came over to comfort him. Brother, we will definitely succeed. Let's think of a way together. Okay. Yu Yang knew that Yu Bing wouldn't be of much help, but he smiled at her. It would be impossible to continue to restore the mural from memory. He had to find the most important key point. There must be a point that could be the supporting point of the entire reconstruction. According to the right, up and down direction, Yu Yang thought that there must be a point in the center of the mural. Only by finding it could he successfully connect to the rest of the mural. Among the 28 mural pieces, there must be one that was the most important point. Which one was it? Was it the one where the barbarian bull killed the ox-head warrior? Or was it the one where the ox-head warrior killed the barbarian bull in anger? If he was wrong, he would fail the stage. What should he choose? The sand in the hourglass fell quickly. Time waited for no one. Yu Yang felt that these two pieces had the highest possibility. He clenched his teeth and decided to give it a try. Just as Yu Yang was about to jump up, he felt a piercing pain in his eyes. It was as if there was a dazzling light piercing through his closed eyelids and into his brain. It was as if a pillar of light had blasted a path through the darkness. In Yu Bing's eyes, her brother was bathed in golden light. Even if he covered his eyes with his hands, she could still see the piercingly cold light flashing through the gaps of his fingers. It was incomparably glorious, making people unable to look directly at it. Yu Bing was overjoyed. Could it be that her brother had some kind of breakthrough at this time? Was it his concealment inherent skill? Did he level up because he was using his concealment inherent skill to find the mural? Chapter 198. Yu Yang flew up the wall and moved like lightning. In less than a minute, he had restored the huge mural. When he slowly landed, the entire hall shook, followed by the muffled sound of a mechanism. Yu Bing did not care about anything else, she was only concerned about her brother. The moment Yu Yang landed, she jumped into his embrace and hugged him tightly. She was extremely nervous, afraid that something would happen to her brother. She saw that there were golden patterns flashing in Yu Yang's eyes, which were as bright as the sun. There was also a rune circle spinning faintly between his eyebrows. Very quickly, the piercingly cold light disappeared, and his eyes became clear again. Her brother had finally returned to the brother that she was familiar with. Yu Bing secretly heaved a sigh of relief in her heart. Just now, she saw that her brother was about to fly into the sky, which made her very worried. She thought that her brother was going to abandon her and fly to the legendary heaven realm. Not to mention Yu Bing, even Yu Yang himself did not expect that the level 4 divine vision would have such an intense change. He felt that the level 4 divine vision and naked eye connection had merged seamlessly, forming a new ability. It was as if he could see through objects and see their essence. But that state was very tiring, as he had to expend a large amount of innate qi every second. In Yu Yang's divine vision state just now, Yu Bing's clothes instantly became transparent, and her snow-white body could be seen faintly. This scared him so much that he quickly dispelled the effect of divine vision, or else some things that he should not have seen would be completely exposed. Yu Yang lightly patted Yu Bing's head and comforted her. "It's okay, I'm fine. My concealment innate skill has leveled up, and I found the boundary point of the mechanism, so I completed the mural. Let's go and see what treasures there are." In his heart, he muttered, "I'm not a Siscon," many times. Only when his lust gradually shrunk did Yu Yang secretly heave a sigh of relief. How would Yu Bing know what Yu Yang was thinking? Her thoughts were extremely pure, and she never thought about such things. She nodded her head and obediently followed Yu Yang. The mechanism opened up a passage on the side wall, and after entering for a few dozen meters, there was a flat altar. There were 3 treasures on the altar. They varied in size. What made Yu Yang sweat profusely was that there was a wooden sign on the altar, engraved with the words "Choose 2 out of 3. Yu Yang did not care about this rule. He had worked so hard to open the wall, only an idiot would take 2 items. He was about to throw the wooden plate away and keep all the treasures, but Yu Bing was very obedient and quickly stopped her brother's greedy behavior. "The rules say that we can only take 2 treasures. Let's just take 2. If we take too many, we might trigger some kind of mechanism and the stone wall will close up. Let's just follow the rules and clear the trial." "Alright, you choose one." Yu Yang had already looked around, and there were no traps around. Taking more or less had nothing to do with the trap. Perhaps it was related to the rewards after clearing the trial. Yu Yang endured it. His main goal was the wisdom reward after clearing the trial. No matter how good this treasure was, it could not compare to the wisdom reward from the ancient code. Yu Bing chose a silver ring. Yu Yang saw that it was only a poison detection ring, and was completely useless. However, since Yu Bing liked it, he did not stop her. Yu Bing took the silver ring and realized that it did not fit on any of her fingers. Her fingers were too small. However, she could not bear to put it down just like that. When she realized that Yu Yang was looking at her, she mischievously stuck out her tongue. As for the remaining 2 treasures, one was a pearl necklace. Using his divine vision to observe, Yu Yang realized that it was a consumable item called Soul Pearl. It could resist soul damage for up to 3 times. If it was somewhere else, Yu Yang would not care about this kind of trash treasure at all. However, here, it was really a good treasure, because the death gaze of the group of barbaric bulls outside was a great killing weapon that could destroy souls and instantly kill enemies. Although Yu Yang did not intend to let Yu Bing participate in the battle, wearing this made him feel more at ease. Yu Yang put the pearl necklace on her. Yu Bing suddenly blushed and said softly, "Mom said that it's best for girls not to wear pearls." Yu Yang did not understand. He remembered that the function of pearls was to calm the nerves, clear the heat and nourish the yin, clear the eyes and detoxify. Why couldn't girls wear pearls? Thus, he asked curiously, why not? Yu Bing shook her head and did not explain. Instead, she obediently lowered her head and let her brother put on the pearl necklace. Her pink little neck and the white pearls contrasted beautifully. Her skin was soft and moist, and Yu Yang really had the urge to kiss it lightly. However, this was his sister. Yu Yang swallowed his saliva, suppressed his thoughts, and put on the serious look of a brother. He gently stroked Yu Bing's black hair and nodded at her. "Then let's go." The remaining treasure was a silver dagger. Yu Yang felt that this long dagger called Eye Destroyer should be a treasure used to deal with those evil eyes outside. He already had the dragon-slaying dagger, so it was fine if he did not want it. Perhaps Yu Bing felt that she was being willful, but she also seemed to be thinking for her brother's sake. She put the silver ring back on the altar, and picked up the silver dagger called Eye Destroyer. She caught up with Yu Yang and handed the silver dagger to her brother. Here. Don't you like that ring? Yu Yang did not understand why she was willing to put the silver ring down. It's okay, the dagger is more useful to brother. Moreover, I already have a pearl necklace. Yu Bing's little face bloomed into a smile, as if it was the first clear day after a snowstorm. That smile made Yu Yang startled. He took the dagger, and then gently pinned the small dagger to her waist. I'll give you another dagger, you must use it to protect yourself. And Yu Bing nodded very firmly. As for that flashy but impractical poison testing ring, she had long forgotten about it. Her first choice might not necessarily be the right one, but she knew that her brother would choose the best and most correct choice for her, whether it was a treasure or a life. Yu Yang left Yu Bing at the entrance of the right passage. Now that the protective barrier had disappeared, if she went out and was glared at by any of the barbarian bulls, Yu Yang would not be willing to see the consequences, even if she had the soul pearl. Yu Yang would not let her take the risk. Of course, he would not let her watch without doing anything either. He took out a healing crystal and healed the 200-years-old Treant defenders. At the same time, he brought the Bloody Queen and the barbarian cow Shadow out to fight against the barbarian bulls. The 2 golden barbarian bulls were personally lured away by Yu Yang. With them around, even if the Bloody Queen and the barbarian cow Shadow could win, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. Yu Yang brought the 2 golden barbarian bulls and went straight to the left passage. The golden barbarian bulls would not enter and would roar outside. Yu Yang took the opportunity to go in and summon the thorny flower demoness. He could not waste the Oxhead warriors' corpses. Of course, he could not let Yu Bing know about this. The thorny flower demoness had devoured countless rancors these few days. Most of them had not been digested yet. The corpses of Tu Cheng and Quang Zhan were still in the 2 thorny flower demons' huge stalks. It seemed like she was planning to save these 2 innate rancors' corpses for her 3rd evolution, to use them when she became the golden-crowned thorny flower queen. When Yu Yang summoned the thorny flower demoness, he discovered that the silver-ranked level 1 thorny flower demoness had already evolved to gold-ranked level 1. Her small body that was originally around 11 or 12 years old had grown even bigger. She looked to be around 13 or 14 years old, only slightly smaller than Yu Bing. There were even some bulges in front of her chest. They were incomparably tender. The clothes that Yu Yang had given her last time were no longer suitable. Furthermore, this thorny flower demoness did not like to wear clothes. The moment she was summoned, she jumped into Yu Yang's embrace happily, giggling. After evolving, her intelligence seemed to have increased. She now knew how to please her master. She even stuck out her little tongue and licked Yu Yang's face, just like a kitten. Yu Yang sweated profusely. Luckily he did not let Yu Bing see this. Otherwise, she would definitely misunderstand him as a lolicon. I don't have time to play with you. Put on your clothes immediately and clean up the corpses. I'm very busy. Let go of me. The thorny flower demoness was very mischievous, but Yu Yang's words were still very effective. The moment he said it, she immediately put on her clothes in front of Yu Yang, her but naked. Although she did not wear her pants over her head this time, she did not know how to differentiate between the front and back of her clothes, especially her undergarment. Yu Yang sweated profusely when he saw this. He hurriedly took off her undergarments and put them on for her personally. He did not feel it when he was changing her clothes, but when he went out to lure the gold-ranked barbarian bulls again, he recalled that beautiful scene just now. His heart was secretly burning. If this thorny flower demoness continued to grow, it seemed that she would evolve into a mature lady sooner or later. At that time, her body would be completely naked. Yu Yang did not dare to think about it anymore. He was afraid that he would have a nosebleed the moment he thought about it. After walking one round, Yu Yang realized that Yu Bing's 200-years-old Treant defenders had been killed by the barbarian bulls, Doom's Eyes. He hurriedly asked the Bloody Queen to come over and lure the two gold-ranked barbarian bulls away. The barbarian cow Shadow was strengthened by the giant Shadow. She was not at a disadvantage when fighting against the herd of barbarian bulls alone. Other than the 5 silver-ranked level 5 barbarian bulls that could fight against her head-on, the other 10 bronze-ranked level 5 barbarian bulls could only use barbaric charge. They did not dare to stop in front of the barbarian cow Shadow easily, otherwise she would be knocked down. "Ah man, use your combat skills, use your combat skills." Yu Yang taught the barbarian cow Shadow some combat skills, but she was not used to using combat skills at all times. Most of her attacks were based on instinct. Yu Yang was now a little aware of the innate disadvantage of his combat skills. Maybe the reason why Princess Sisai brought him here was to show him where his weakness was. His strongest combat skill was at the innate realm. If it were other innates, they would not be at such a disadvantage. This was because they relied on their beasts to reach the innate realm, and trained hard for 100 to 200 years. Their skills were profound, and their beast strengths and levels were astonishing. Innates who focused on combat skills, such as the two brothers Tu Ching and Quang Zhan, their beasts and beast strengths should be the weakest among all the innate rankers. Hence, when he killed them, they did not have any strong beasts to protect their lives. In the end, they were instantly killed by him when he exploded. If it were other innate rankers, even if they could not defeat him, they might not necessarily be killed by him. If Tu Ching and Quang Zhan did not rely on strengthening type beasts, or if there was a highly intelligent holy beast among their beasts, would he really be able to kill them so easily? Only when both legs were the same length would it be easier to walk. One long and one short, that was a cripple. Now that his combat skills had improved, he was still lacking in terms of beast. This might be the real reason why Princess Sisai asked him to come to the 12 zodiac temples to pass the test, nurture holy beasts, and strengthen his beast. "Brother, will that method really work?" Yu Bing asked excitedly when she saw that Yu Yang had returned. She really wished that she could help her brother, but she was just too weak. The bronze-ranked level 500 years old Treant defender was enough to deal with a normal warrior, but in front of a large group of barbarian bulls, being stared at by dozens of barbarian bulls of the same level or even higher, no matter how strong he would not be able to withstand it. Fortunately, the 100 years old Treant defender was a guardian beast, so it would not really die. Yu Yang also did not know whether that secret method would work or not, but he could not say it. He had to let his sister maintain her confidence. He nodded towards Yu Bing, expressing his affirmation. If that secret method worked, then Yu Yang was confident that he would be able to pass the 12 zodiac temples with his sister. If that secret method worked, Yu Yang was even confident that he could slowly nurture his sister, City Mistress Fallen Flowers, Princess Sisai and the others into innate rankers. However, they might have to suffer a little because that secret method was really a little. Chapter 199. The pitiful guy's mother mentioned a secret technique. This secret technique was suitable for couples or husband and wife to use together. Furthermore, the more tacit the two parties worked together, the more powerful the secret technique would be. The specific way to display this technique was to connect the minds of the couple. When they were in perfect harmony, they would then use their spirit energy to connect, just like how warriors used their spirit energy to summon beasts. The two of them would transfer their spirit energy to each other, combining their strength to summon beasts. If this secret technique reached a certain level, they could even join hands to use battle skills. This kind of summoning and battle skill would be even more powerful. There might even be unexpected changes. Of course, the specific effects would vary from person to person. However, it would definitely be more powerful than a single person. This kind of ancient secret technique had been lost for thousands of years. The pitiful guy's mother had also obtained it unintentionally. She felt that the secret technique was still incomplete and not 100% complete. Otherwise, their combined strength would be at least 10 times stronger. In the end, she renamed this secret technique she had created, body fusion. Originally, this body fusion was best practiced by couples or husband and wife. However, Yu Yang couldn't help but take it out. Although Yu Yang was a big pervert, he actually didn't have any evil intentions towards his sister. The reason why he took out this body fusion secret technique wasn't because he wanted to take advantage of her, but because he saw that his sister wasn't strong enough. He really wanted to help her. Yu Bing was obedient and stubborn. She usually trained very hard. However, she lacked guidance from the plant type and improved very slowly. Yu Yang couldn't bear to see her like this. He always felt that he wasn't doing his duty as a brother. As for how to use this body fusion secret technique, Yu Yang felt that as long as he was righteous, it wouldn't matter even if he used this secret technique. Furthermore, Yu Bing wouldn't think in such an evil way. She was just a pure little girl who thought that her brother was going to use this secret technique to help her increase her strength. At the same time, Yu Yang didn't tell her everything about the secret technique. He only asked her to cooperate and told her that he would transfer his spirit energy into her body. At that time, she would be able to use her spirit energy to summon beasts. "Brother, I'm ready." Yu Bing placed her soft little hand on her brother's palm and slowly closed her eyes. She followed the method taught by Yu Yang and meditated calmly. Due to her trust towards her brother, she naturally entered a state of emptiness. Normal girls would have a mental barrier against others, but to her, it didn't exist at all. The one who connected with her mind was her brother. Yu Bing felt extremely at ease. Yu Yang was stunned by how quickly this little girl entered the ethereal state. He quickly cleared his mind and transferred his innate qi to her body. Innate qi flowed through her body, just like how it flowed through Yu Yang. Innate qi flowed through her body and flowed through to her other hand. Yu Yang praised in his heart. He quickly got rid of all the distracting thoughts in his mind and gently transferred his innate qi over. Yu Bing's body slightly trembled, but she did not resist. The innate qi flowed along the meridians in her arms slowly, just like how it circulated in Yu Yang's body. It flowed through her body once and then extended to her other hand. Although more than half of the innate qi in her body had disappeared, it was still very abundant for her body, which had not opened its meridians yet. Yu Bing naturally reached out her hand and summoned her grimoire. Originally, she needed to rest for at least an hour before she could summon it again. Right now, she could successfully summon the grimoire even before the time limit was up. Furthermore, it was much easier and more natural than her usual summoning. She could summon the grimoire almost effortlessly. Yu Bing felt a brilliant golden light flashing in her heart. It was as if she could see her brother's image in the golden light. His face was hidden in the golden light, and she couldn't see it clearly. However, she could feel his powerful might. His eyes were as bright as the stars. She felt her body becoming lighter and lighter, as though she was melting in the golden light. Her body flew towards her brother as light as a feather. When she flew closer, she realized that her brother was a giant. He was more than 10 meters tall. Compared to him, she was very small. Her brother reached out a giant golden hand in the golden light. It was covered with dark golden runic circles. He easily grabbed her in his palm. Then, a large amount of energy erupted from his palm, causing her palm to grow rapidly. Yu Bing realized that after she received her brother's energy, she became a giant that could support both heaven and earth. She stood on her brother's palm. When she stretched out her hand, it was as though she could touch the sky. If she opened her eyes, she would realize that her body was floating in the air. Her hand was still holding onto Yu Yang's hand, floating 3 feet above the ground. Behind her, there was an illusion of a green female giant that was 10 meters tall, emitting a light green light. She looked very similar to Yu Bing, but more mature. Her hair was like a tree that had sprouts and leaves. There was also a light green light wing on her back. It looked like leaves, flowers, rainbows. Yu Yang was dumbstruck. However, he was afraid that his state of mind would affect the changes in Yu Bing's body. He quickly calmed himself down and continued to transfer his innate qi into Yu Bing's body. After the first meridian was opened, Yu Bing, who was in deep thought, suddenly let out a shout. A golden light appeared on her body. The light green female giant bent over and hugged the golden light. Then, both of them entered Yu Bing's body. Yu Bing's beginner silver grimoire emitted a golden light and automatically leveled up to become an intermediate silver grimoire. At the same time, she flipped the pages quickly. On a blank page, there was an additional picture. It was the picture of the green female giant, whose body was surrounded by a golden light. Yu Bing's aura exploded. Her clothes turned into ashes and the shockwave from her body caused the group of barbarian bulls to run away in fear. The white bull, who was sleeping soundly, opened its eyes wide and looked at her. Its eyes shone with the light of wisdom. No one knew what it was thinking about. The 200-years-old Treant defenders that had died earlier were automatically summoned. They respectfully knelt in front of Yu Bing. Yu Yang realized that Yu Bing's body shook and fainted. She fell from the sky. He quickly caught her and held her in his arms. Without caring about her naked body, he quickly took out some clothes and helped her put them on. In the end, he curiously looked at Yu Bing's silver grimoire that had just leveled up green light tree demoness. Humanoid elemental type. Silver ranked level 1. Guardian beast. Incorporeal elemental body. Affinity with nature. Special skills. Recovery, green rush, the spiritual root. Guardian beast? Yu Yang never thought that Yu Bing could have 2 guardian beasts. Was this her original inherent skill? Or was it because of his innate qi? If he used body fusion on City Mistress Fallen Flowers, Princess Sisai and the Mysterious Beauty, would they be like Yu Bing? Yu Bing's current state, was it her limit, or was there still potential that could be unearthed? Yu Yang couldn't explain, nor could he understand the truth. He only knew that this was an extremely good thing. Obtaining a guardian beast meant a lot to Yu Bing. Even an idiot would know that her future was limitless. Compared to Yu Yang, the abnormal guy who had n number of guardian beasts, she was definitely not as good. However, compared to others, Yu Bing had already won by a huge margin of 1 guardian beast at the starting line. Furthermore, this was just the beginning. Perhaps, as her body fusion leveled up, there would be even more surprises. The pitiful guy's mother was right. This kind of ancient secret skill, if used correctly, would be of great benefit to both parties. When Yu Yang placed his hand on Yu Bing's silver grimoire and channeled his innate qi into it, miraculously, the image of the female giant, the green light tree demoness, was summoned by him. She had shrunk a lot compared to before, about 3 meters. Her body was still transparent, but it was obviously better than before. The green light tree demoness seemed to have intelligence. She looked at Yu Yang curiously, as if surprised that it was Yu Yang who summoned her instead of her master. She threw 2 balls of green light at the 100-years-old Treant defenders. The 2 Treant defenders' battle power immediately increased, and they rushed towards the bronze-ranked barbaric bull. With a combined attack, they sent one of the bronze-ranked barbaric bulls flying. The green light tree demoness looked at Yu Yang again, and stretched out her transparent finger to touch Yu Yang's body. Realizing that it couldn't enter Yu Yang's body, she shook her head and slowly entered Yu Bing's body. Yu Bing's eyelashes trembled slightly. Then, she opened her eyes and woke up. When she saw that Yu Yang was hugging her, she was immediately overjoyed. She hugged Yu Yang and shouted, "Brother, I had a dream. I dreamt that brother became so tall as a skyscraper, and glowed like the sun." Yu Yang sweated inwardly when he heard this. This little girl could easily enter the realm of emptiness, but he couldn't. It seemed that there were still countless mysteries waiting for him to explore. Body fusion. Yu Bing jumped down from her brother's embrace. She was surprised to find that her 200-years-old Treant defenders were fighting against a few bronze-ranked barbaric bulls in an awe-inspiring manner. They were not at a disadvantage at all. Curious, she tilted her head and asked Yu Yang, "Brother, how did I summon my Treants? Did I do this in my dream? Why is there another title in my grimoire?" Yu Yang followed her finger and saw that there was a title behind the level 3 beginner, hero title, Tree Spirit. Yu Yang remembered that there was another title behind the level 1 apprentice title that normal people couldn't see, innate. His title was dark gold in color, while his sister's new title was green in color. Maybe it had something to do with her new ability. Flipping the page again, Yu Bing saw that she had another guardian beast. She was immediately dumbfounded. She looked at Yu Yang in disbelief, as if she wanted her brother to personally confirm it. Only then would she believe that this unbelievable surprise was a reality. "Congratulations, Bing heir. You have another guardian beast." Yu Yang caressed Yu Bing's soft hair. "Wah!" Who knew that Yu Bing would jump into his embrace and burst into tears. Her tears flowed uncontrollably. Yu Yang had to coax her for a long time before she could stop crying. She then laughed embarrassedly. I'm just happy, too happy. Did brother give it to me? Thank you, brother." "No, it's something you've got yourself. Forget it, it's fine. Another guardian beast is nothing. Be good, don't cry." Seeing that Yu Bing wouldn't believe him no matter how he tried to explain, Yu Yang decided to let her think what she wanted. Although it wasn't him who gave it to her, it was still related to him. Yu Bing had never been so happy in her entire life. She smiled as she wiped away her tears. That cute expression of hers made Yu Yang gasp in amazement. The current Yu Bing, compared to her previous lonely and cold appearance of a masked widow, was like heaven and earth. The battle outside continued. The barbarian cow Shadow, Man, continued to trample on the ground. Once she stunned her opponent, she would immediately grab the barbarian cow's horn and flip it over. The Bloody Queen hovered in the air, attacking from time to time. The dragon-slaying dagger in her small hands had already killed 3 bronze-ranked barbarian cows. She had even lured 2 gold-ranked barbarian cows far away. At first, the barbarian cow Shadow Man, who was being attacked from both front and back, was a little strained. However, with the addition of the 200-year-old Treant defenders who had been strengthened by the green light tree demoness, she gradually turned the tables. Seeing that the white bull had finally stood up, Yu Yang realized that a fierce battle was coming. He hurriedly told Yu Bing to stay in the tunnel, while he rushed towards the white bull. The white bull, no matter if it was the Bloody Queen or the barbarian cow Shadow, they wouldn't be able to fight it. Its opponent could only be Little One Li. Chapter 200. Due to the restrictions of the ancient code, Yu Yang could only watch and was unable to attack. Yu Yang couldn't see how strong the white bull was even with his level 4 divine vision. He only felt that this white bull was stronger than the previous 3-headed chimera. Little One Li turned into a rainbow light and floated out, circling around Yu Yang's body. Although Yu Yang couldn't attack, his extremely fast speed and reflexes were still very helpful in the battle. He couldn't attack, but he could still dodge. With his support, Little One Li's battle power would also rise to a higher level. The white bull's eyes that were filled with intelligence gradually became filled with killing intent. The white bull's eyes widened, and a terrifying thought wave covered the sky and covered the earth. If it were other beasts, they would have run away long ago even if their legs had gone soft. However, Little One Li didn't panic at all. She reached out to Yu Yang and let him carry her into the sky. Yu Yang summoned his grimoire and raised his protective shield, blocking the attack the moment the thought wave arrived. At the same time, he threw Little One Li down and let her fly towards the white bull like an arrow. The white bull's weakness was on the top of its back. This was the only angle that the bull's eyes couldn't attack. Although there were no flaws in front, behind, left, or right, there was a small space above the spine, which was its blind spot. The closer it was to the spine, the bigger the blind spot. If it was high up in the sky, it would be easier for the white bull to turn around and stare at it. Little Onely twisted her small waist in mid-air and glided down beautifully. She changed her flight path from time to time to prevent the white bull from turning its head to stare at her. This white bull was good at thought attacks. Close combat should be its weakness. Yu Yang gradually became more experienced in dealing with enemies. He made the most reasonable tactical arrangement. Coupled with Little Wen Li's excellent reaction and automatic adjustment, Yu Yang was confident in Little Wen Li. She would definitely defeat this white bull. As long as she could get close, as long as she could use her binding talent, as long as there was a chance to get close and attack, then the white bull would definitely lose. Back then, the three-headed chimera was also defeated by Little Wen Li in this way. Moo moo. Unexpectedly, the white bull suddenly stood up like a human, no longer having any blind spots. The bull's eyes stared straight at Little Wen Li, who was swimming at high speed, and the thought wave storm once again exploded. Yu Yang suddenly appeared behind Little Wen Li, holding her in his arms. In the instant that the thought wave attacked her, he disappeared without a trace. This was the teleportation skill that he learned from the Marquis of Zijin. It consumed a lot of innate qi, so he didn't use it easily. Now that the situation was critical, Yu Yang saved Little Wen Li in time. Although Little Wen Li was a guardian beast and wouldn't really die, Yu Yang still didn't want to see her get hurt, let alone die. Yu Yang couldn't be sure whether this white bull's thought wave storm had the ability to kill the enemy instantly like Doom's eyes. He definitely wouldn't take the risk. After the surprise attack failed, Yu Yang and Little Wen Li gave up the first wave of attack at the same time and started swimming again. They were very patient and looked for the best opportunity. Among all the surprise attacks, this was the first time that Yu Yang and Little Wen Li were seen through and forced to retreat by the opponent. It seemed that the white bull's intelligence was very high. Yu Yang was the first to move and flew towards the white bull. He grabbed the golden beast that had turned into a wrist guard and handed it to the white bull. In the air, the wrist guard quickly turned into a dagger. Although Yu Yang couldn't attack and couldn't use his innate qi, it automatically shot out a sword aura and attacked the white bull's right eye. As expected, the white bull was attracted by Yu Yang's attack. It nimbly retreated a few steps and avoided the golden beast's attack range. The terrifying thought wave storm started again. Yu Yang immediately summoned his grimoire and raised his protective shield. He blocked the thought wave storm. At the same time, Little Wen Li floated out from behind him. Her dual icicle blades quickly slashed towards the white bull who had already used the thought wave storm. Any beast's moves had a gap. The bigger the power, the bigger the gap. Yu Yang and Little Wen Li were fighting for this gap. However, before Little Wen Li could use her binding chains inherent skill, the second thought wave storm had already arrived and sent Yu Yang and Little Wen Li flying away at the same time. In the air, Yu Yang and Little Wen Li hit each other with their palms and were sent flying away at the same time. The terrifying thought wave storm burst out like a mountain torrent. It was 10 times stronger than before. It turned out that the white bull had been hiding its strength all along. It was waiting for the 2 consecutive sneak attacks just now. If it wasn't for Yu Yang and Little Wen Li's vigilance, the white bull's sneak attack would have succeeded. More than 30 meters behind Yu Yang, a charging bronze barbaric bull was hit directly by the thought wave storm. Its huge body was sent flying into the air and heavily smashed 100 meters away. In the end, it was unknown whether it was dead or alive. Even the herd of barbaric bulls close to 100 meters away were blown away. The 200-year-old Treant defenders were completely destroyed and fell to the ground. Yu Bing waited for the storm to pass and threw green orbs to the 100-year-old Treant defenders to recover from their injuries. At the same time, she shouted for Yu Yang who had disappeared. The bloody queen in the sky also flew around dizzily and only recovered after a long time. Barbarian cow Shadow Aman was running madly because she saw the white bull rushing towards Yu Bing. Roar! As the white bull rushed towards Yu Bing, the barbarian cow Shadow jumped up high and smashed her fists on the white bull's back. The white bull turned around and a red light flashed in its eyes. Coincidentally, a red light also flashed in the barbarian cow Shadow's eyes. Doom's eyes versus Doom's eyes. The white bull's body swayed as if it was dizzy, but it didn't fall down. The barbarian cow Shadow stood there blankly and finally fell to the ground. The bloody queen swooped down and let out a banshee scream beside the white bull's ears. The white bull's body swayed again as the banshee scream made it dizzy. Little Wunli appeared in a flash and slashed at the white bull's neck with her dual icicle blades. Frost quickly condensed. Even though the white bull was still struggling, it turned into a big lump of ice in the end. Yu Yang descended from the sky. His clothes were torn and tattered. He didn't have the time to check on the barbarian cow Shadow's condition. He waved his hand and signaled Yu Bing to quickly retreat back into the tunnel. 2 gold-ranked barbaric bulls rushed over and wanted to use their huge horns to kill Yu Yang. The mysterious little beast's dagger automatically slashed in Yu Yang's hand, cutting off the indestructible gold-ranked barbaric bull's horn as if it was tofu. Little Wunli's speed was even faster. With a stretch of her hand, she had already bound the other gold-ranked barbaric bull. Her dual icicle blades pierced deeply into the gold-ranked barbaric bull's eyes. At this moment, the ice on the body of the white bull that had turned into a lump of ice suddenly shattered. A huge fist came out from the shattered ice. The target of the thunderous fist aura was the bloody queen, who was flying down swiftly and was preparing to cooperate with Yu Yang to attack the gold-ranked barbaric bull. The bloody queen didn't seem to know that she was flying towards a path of death. It was already too late for Yu Yang to recall her. At the critical moment, a shadow jumped up and blocked the huge fist. Rumble. The huge fist pierced through the shadow's body, from the front to the back of her abdomen. However, the shadow didn't feel any pain. She raised her hand and caught the enemy's huge fist that was still moving forward. She held on tightly as smoke came out of her mouth and nose. Her eyes flashed red again. She was the barbarian cow Shadow who had fallen to the ground just now. Another Doom's gaze. Behind the shattered ice was a gold-ranked bull-headed giant. Its body swayed, as if it was going to fall to the ground. Before Little Wunli could react, the bull-headed giant straightened its legs and stood still. The bull-headed giant glared, and a double thought wave burst out like a mountain torrent. The barbarian cow Shadow Aman stretched out her hand and grabbed the bull-headed giant's golden hoop tightly. A golden rune appeared on her forehead. A golden rune also appeared on her palm where the golden hoop was connected. A golden light flashed in the storm. The golden hoop suddenly left the bull-headed giant's nose and slid to the barbarian cow Shadow Aman's wrist. It became her golden wristband. The rune on it shone brightly. The gold-ranked bull-headed giant roared in pain. The thought wave storm that burst out at the same time just now became chaotic in an instant. It evolved into a world-shaking explosion. Rumble, 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 rumble. The huge shock wave sent everything flying. In the midst of the explosion, everything was insignificant. Yu Bing only felt the shock wave before she lost consciousness. When she opened her eyes again, she discovered that Yu Yang was half naked, letting the bloody queen and Little Wunli help him bandage the bloody wound between his ribs. "Brother, where's the bull-headed giant?" Yu Bing discovered that the scene was a mess. The bronze-ranked barbarian cow, silver-ranked barbarian cow and gold-ranked barbarian cow were all lying dead on the ground. The bull-headed giant was nowhere to be seen. Her brother's ribs were injured. The wound was long and looked like it was caused by a bull's horn. The bloody queen was also injured in many places, but she was in a better condition than Yu Yang. The one with the heaviest injuries was the barbarian cow Shadow. Her chest and lower abdomen had become a mess. Fortunately, she did not have a living body and was a guardian beast. If she was a normal beast, she would have died long ago. Seeing that Yu Bing had woken up, Yu Yang quickly waved his hands and said, "I'm fine, it's just a small injury." That bull-headed giant had turned back into a white bull. Without the golden hoop, its power was greatly reduced. Before we could kill it, it turned into a golden light and teleported away. Taurus Temple, looks like we have successfully passed the trial. TSK, I didn't think that it would be so difficult. Yu Bing also had a lingering fear. She did not think that the white bull could turn into a human and turn into a female oxhead warrior that was similar to the barbarian cow Shadow. Furthermore, the female barbarian cow that the white bull had turned into was much more powerful than the barbarian cow Shadow. Maybe the white bull was the holy beast that Grandma Wu Ting had mentioned. No wonder it was so strong. Not only could it use instant thought wave, it could also use instant double kill and Doom's eyes. The most terrifying thing was that the barbarian cow Shadow's Doom's eyes couldn't hurt her at all. Fortunately, her brother's power was stronger than hers in the end. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Thinking about this, Yu Bing closed her eyes comfortably. She now realized the huge gap between her and her brother. If she didn't work hard, she wouldn't be able to help her brother in the future. She must train 100 times harder in the future. No matter what, she couldn't drag her brother down like she did today. In Yu Bing's heart, she made up her mind. Yu Yang didn't know what she was thinking. Thinking about what happened just now, he also broke out in cold sweat. That golden ring was a treasure that could increase one's power. If the barbarian cow Shadow hadn't snatched it away, who knew how long this great battle between humans and bulls would have lasted? The corpses of the barbarian cows were all kept in the lich ring, leaving behind a gold-ranked barbarian cow's corpse for Ah-Man to fuse with and repair her body. Yu Yang took the chance while Yu Bing was resting and hurried to the left hall to bring the thorny flower demoness out. When he ran out, Hui Tai Lang had already killed all the Oxhead warriors. However, the 100 or so evil eyes floating in the sky weren't easy to deal with. Hui Tai Lang was still fighting. The Bloody Queen flew out to help. She held the dragon-slaying dagger in her right hand and the Eye-Destroyer dagger that she had temporarily borrowed from Yu Bing in her left hand. A mournful scream rang out. The evil eyes nearby fell one after another. The evil eyes that were the furthest away also felt dizzy. Hui Tai Lang finally became awesome at this moment. He pounced on the evil eyes and bit them randomly. His killing speed was even faster than the Bloody Queen who was attacking with her dagger. Although the Thorny Flower Demoness didn't really like the corpses of the evil eyes, she still obeyed Yu Yang's orders. She extended her thorny flower forest and swallowed the evil eyes regardless of whether they were dead or not. The thorny flower forest swallowed the evil eyes alive, made the Bloody Queen a little dazed. What a brat! She was the real demon that killed without batting an eye. Hurry up and clean up the battlefield. My reward. Yu Yang didn't have the time to look anymore. He turned around and ran back. He carried Yu Bing and called Little One Li to follow him. As for the barbarian cow Shadow, who still needed to reconstruct her body, Yu Yang kept it immediately. After clearing the Ares Temple, Yu Yang received the Ancient Code's reward for raising his beast's intelligence. What would he get after clearing the Taurus Temple? Yu Yang couldn't wait any longer. He felt that this reward should have a time limit. The shorter the time needed to complete the quest, the better the reward. Hence, he immediately turned around and ran after killing all the monsters. He couldn't be bothered to collect the Oxhead warriors' corpses and magic crystals. Furthermore, Yu Yang guessed that Hui Tai Lang had already eaten all the magic crystals. There was no need to waste time collecting the corpses. When Yu Yang ran into the back hall anxiously, he found that the mechanism inside had already been opened, revealing the war god painting. The two goddess servant statues in the Ares temple had been replaced by two golden oxhead warriors wielding axes. Yu Yang summoned his grimoire, but he couldn't get any reward no matter how hard he tried. He was extremely anxious. The Bloody Queen and the Thorny Flower Demoness also followed him in. They almost moved the Oxhead warriors away, but there was no reaction at all. Could it be that they had already exceeded the time limit? Did the reward start from the moment the white bull turned into a golden light and disappeared? Yu Yang sweated in his heart. If he knew this would happen, he would have run into the back hall immediately. Why did he have to kill all the evil eyes? In the end, he lost all the reward. Even though he paid special attention, he still failed at the last step. Little Wunli hugged Yu Yang's thigh lightly, blinking her big eyes as if she wanted to comfort Yu Yang. "I'm fine." Yu Yang patted her little head and thought, why were the Taurus temple servants different from the Aries temple servants? The Aries temple servants placed the crystal cards on the scales. Could it be that the Oxhead warriors wanted to stuff the crystal cards into their mouths? Or should it be streaked across their eyes? He tried to take out the crystal cards, but there was no effect at all. Yu Yang felt as if he had grasped something, but he couldn't react in time. Suddenly, little Wunli pointed at the grimoire. There was nothing in the grimoire. What did she mean? Yu Yang was puzzled. Suddenly, the grimoire shone with a golden light. The barbarian cow Shadow Aman appeared without being summoned. She reached out her hand and grabbed the crystal card in Yu Yang's hand. Immediately, the crystal card shone brightly. Two phantoms flew into the Oxhead warrior's body, then turned into a purplish-red light in the bull's eyes and flew into the barbarian cow Shadow's eyes. Could it be that this reward must be a beast related to a bull? Yu Yang looked at the barbarian cow Shadow's information again and realized that she had evolved and changed again. Chapter 201. This time, the ancient code's reward had shrunk the range. Not all of the phantoms were useful. Only the barbarian cow Shadow received the reward for clearing the stage. Crimson Pupil Double Kill. When Doom's Eyes is activated at the same time as killing the enemy, there is a certain probability of killing a related enemy. This skill does not have a chain reaction effect on lifeless beasts or soulless undead. Yu Yang realized that the barbarian cow Shadow had another skill that seemed to be rubbish. Doom's Eyes already had a very low probability of activating. The probability of activating Blood Pupil Double Kill was even lower. However, since it was a skill gifted by the heavens, Yu Yang couldn't change it even if he wanted to. He could only accept it. He immediately shifted his attention away from the special skill bestowed by the ancient code and looked anxiously at the changes in the barbarian cow Shadow's body. The original barbarian cow Shadow was in the process of reconstructing her body. She had not finished reconstructing her body yet. Now that she was bathing in the golden light, there was a black aura continuously rising from her body. Her body kept changing shape, shrinking bit by bit. The curved horns on her head bent backwards gently, and the originally silver horns gradually turned golden. The golden bull's horns became smaller and longer. The contours of her face that were originally too obvious also became gentler. Her 2-meter-tall body still looked very tall, but it was much better than before. Now, she looked like she was starting to have a slender feeling. The strong bulging muscles were only limited to her arms and thighs. They had disappeared from the other parts of her body. What replaced them was the smooth skin of a woman. Although it was still not as white and delicate as the Bloody Queen's, compared to before, it was a completely different skin. The fat on her body and the barbarian cow leather armor that she was wearing started to catch fire. The flames burned fiercely, and the fat continuously dripped onto the ground, forming balls of fire. Her hands were no longer rough, and her fingers started to grow longer and sharper. The tail at the back had completely disappeared. Above her thighs, there were only the characteristics of a woman's buttocks. Other than her knees, there were still cow hooves. There were no other characteristics of a female barbarian cow. As the golden light shot out from the barbarian cow Shadow's heart, the barbarian cow Shadow bent down in pain. When the flames on its body disappeared completely, the barbaric cow stood up again, giving Yu Yang a fright. On her body there was not a single thread of clothing. Her previous battle armor had completely disappeared. Although her skin had a slight bronze color, it made her look even more healthy and energetic. On her extremely well-proportioned slender body, the most eye-catching thing was a pair of huge breasts that would make people vomit blood. Yu Yang reckoned that they were at least G-breasts. If it wasn't for her 2-meter height, she really wouldn't be able to match up to these treasures that would make people's blood boil. A golden bell hung down from her neck, right in the middle of her huge breasts. There was also a golden bracelet on his wrist. Her waist was no longer as stocky as before. Instead, it was retracted like a normal woman's. Then, it spread exaggeratedly to her buttocks, forming a beautiful gourd-shaped figure. He continued reading. Yu Yang suddenly felt a kind of evil impulse. But she was his guardian beast. Was it really okay for a human to be a beast? Seeing the barbaric cow Shadow's hot body, the Bloody Queen was a little envious. Fortunately, other than her chest, she was stronger than the barbaric cow Shadow in other areas, so she wasn't too ashamed. Little Wanli, on the other hand, didn't understand anything. She saw that the barbaric cow Shadow's lower abdomen was a little different from her own. She tilted her head to look and wanted to reach out to touch it. Yu Yang quickly caught her curious little hand and gave the barbaric cow Shadow a set of his clothes. Although his clothes were still too small for her, he didn't prepare them beforehand, so he could only make do with it. Seeing that Yu Yang didn't dare to look at the barbaric cow Shadow, the Bloody Queen flew over and hugged him, pressing her soft body against his back, letting him feel her beauty to his heart's content. Little Wanli was even more troublesome. Her little hands hugged Yu Yang's thighs, and her little face rubbed against Yu Yang's lower abdomen. She was actually just acting coquettishly to him, but Yu Yang's willpower was a little weak now. When her little pink face rubbed against him, he felt the fire in his heart burning even more. He hugged little Wanli and kissed her fiercely to quench the thirst in his heart. Little Wanli was extremely happy. She also hugged Yu Yang and kissed him. In the end, even the Bloody Queen also moved her little face closer from behind, breathing hot air. Yu Yang caressed the Bloody Queen's fiery face. He wanted to turn his head and kiss her soft cherry lips, but Yu Bing, who was on the ground, moved slightly, scaring Yu Yang and the Bloody Queen so much that they quickly let go of each other. Only little Wanli didn't understand this at all, and still hugged him tightly. Yu Bing mumbled a few words in her sleep and fell asleep again. Yu Yang suppressed the fire in his heart and carried his sister on his back. He then looked at the barbarian cow Shadow's information on the summoning grimoire. Barbarian cow Shadow, master named Aman, humanoid special type, intelligence unlocked, gold ranked level 5, living half entity, guardian beast, 5th humanoid reconstruction. Special skills: Trample, Doom's Eyes, Blood Pupil Double Kill. There weren't many changes in the information above, but when Yu Yang saw that intelligence was unlocked, he was extremely touched. Leveling up wasn't important. If the barbarian cow Shadow didn't have intelligence, then no matter how strong she became in the future, she would only be a dumb beast that did manual labor. Only by unlocking intelligence could she have a future and evolve into a holy beast. As for mythical beasts, Yu Yang didn't have high hopes. God knows what kind of conditions were needed to evolve into a mythical beast. The Bloody Queen was so smart that she could even speak, but she wasn't even a holy beast yet. The fact that the barbarian cow Shadow could evolve into a holy beast was already Yu Yang's biggest surprise. Another thing that made Yu Yang happy was that the barbarian cow Shadow Aman's information had changed from a living half-entity to a living half-entity. Looks like Aman had started to gain life. Although she wasn't like a human yet, she had indeed started to gain life. In other words, she was getting closer and closer to becoming a human. If this continued, there would be a day when she could reach the realm of humanization. Humanization and intelligence were essential for a holy beast. This was also very important. Unlike the Bloody Queen, Aman was still so obedient after her evolution. When Yu Yang recalled her back into the silver grimoire, He had thought that she would resist like the Bloody Queen, who knew that she would turn into a golden light and return to him without saying a word. Flipping open the page and looking at her image, Yu Yang felt satisfied from the bottom of his heart. Among the many beasts, only she and little one Li were the most obedient. Even Hui Tai Lang would hide it from him and secretly eat magic crystals. As for the Bloody Queen, there was no need to talk about it. She was simply like a delicate princess. When Yu Yang thought of this, he couldn't help but give the Bloody Queen a slap on her perky buttocks, causing the Bloody Queen to be stunned. "Why did I hit you?" The Bloody Queen didn't understand why her master wanted to punish her. She thought about it, she had put in a lot of effort in the battle just now. Smack smack. Yu Yang was embarrassed and speechless. Even though he was thinking about it, he really hit her. Seeing that he had hit the wrong person, he decided to go all out. He directly pressed the bouncing thorny flower demoness onto his knees and spanked her buttocks a few times. Different from the stunned Bloody Queen, Yu Yang started to hit her lightly. The thorny flower demoness didn't care at all, she even enjoyed it. She swayed her buttocks and couldn't bear to get down from Yu Yang's knees. Only when Yu Yang's last heavy slap hurt her did she hold her buttocks and jump up. With tears in her eyes, she pitifully hid behind the Bloody Queen. The Bloody Queen thought that her uncontrollable intimate actions just now had offended her master's dignity, so she lowered her head and accepted her master's criticism. Yu Yang didn't explain himself. He stared at them with a straight face and patted their heads to show that he forgave them. Give a carrot after a slap. This was the king's way of using people. Yu Yang had imitated it. In the end, the Bloody Queen and the thorny flower demoness were very touched. Each of them held one of Yu Yang's hands, their eyes brimming with tears. When they saw that Yu Yang had forgiven them, they immediately smiled and nodded to show that they would be obedient in the future. Little Wen Li looked on with a smile. Her relationship with Yu Yang was different from the others. Furthermore, she was obedient. Yu Yang had always kissed her and praised her. She had never worried that she would be punished. When she saw Yu Yang caressing the Bloody Queen's face, she also pulled his big hand down and tried to caress her face gently. She then raised her big watery eyes and nodded at Yu Yang with a smile on her face, as if she felt that it was very comfortable. Let's go to the Gemini Temple to take a look. After passing the Taurus Temple, Yu Yang became bolder and quickly conquered the Gemini Temple. What kind of beasts would be waiting for him in the Gemini Temple? Yu Yang carried Yu Bing on his back and held little Wen Li's hand. The Bloody Queen and the thorny flower demoness who refused to return to the summoning grimoire followed behind. They entered the golden teleportation gate at the back of the palace and were teleported to the third temple of the 12 zodiac temples, the Gemini Temple. The Aries Temple was guarded by a 3-headed chimera. The Taurus Temple was guarded by a white bull that could transform into a human and was close to a holy beast. What kind of strong beasts would the Gemini Temple have? Yu Yang heard Qian Qian's introduction. There was a rule in the 12 zodiac temple challenges. Every 3 temples was a small round. In every small round, the third temple's beast would definitely be the strongest. In other words, the Gemini Temple, Virgo Temple, Sagittarius Temple and Pisces Temple's beasts would be stronger than their previous guardian beasts. Furthermore, after 10,000 years of warriors' challenges, they came to a terrifying conclusion. It was said that the third and sixth temple, the Virgo Temple, were the most abnormal existences in the past 10,000 years. No warrior had been able to pass these 2 temples. Normal warriors would not start from the Aries Temple. They would usually start from the 7th temple, the Libra Temple, or the 10th temple, the Capricorn Temple. They knew that they would not be able to complete the challenge, but they still hoped to challenge a few more temples. Hence, normal warriors would not challenge the Gemini Temple and Virgo Temple, these 2 abnormal death temples. The highest record of the 12 zodiac temples was 10,000 years ago. A warrior whose name was not revealed to the public had reached the 9th temple. This feat became the pinnacle of humankind, and no one in the future could catch up to him. This warrior, whose name was not revealed to the public, started from the seventh temple, the Libra temple. In the end, he was defeated in the Gemini temple. He had left behind a sentence: "It's impossible for anyone to pass the Gemini temple, it's impossible." Right now, Yu Yang was really looking forward to it. What kind of beast could make that person who had never been surpassed in 10,000 years say that it was impossible? What kind of beast could make a warrior who had never been able to pass the Gemini temple for 10,000 years say that it was impossible? When Yu Yang entered the Gemini temple, he realized that there was not a single beast here. It was completely empty. He only discovered it when he reached the colossal arena where the boss was guarding. When Yu Yang saw the beast guarding the Gemini temple, he was also incomparably shocked. He couldn't help but cry out involuntarily, "F***ck, how could this be?" No wonder he said that it was impossible to pass. It turns out that this was really an impossible challenge. Oh my god, how do we fight this? Chapter 202. The Gemini Temple Guardian standing in front of Yu Yang was out of Yu Yang's expectations. It wasn't a beast, but Yu Yang's shadow. A shadow that was exactly the same. Appearance, height, beast, strength, and even habits were exactly the same. It was as if Yu Yang was looking at himself in a mirror. The only difference was that this shadow could fight on its own, while Yu Yang's body was restricted by the ancient code. Beside the shadow stood Little Wan Li's shadow. Behind them were Bloody Queen, Little Thorny Flower Demoness' shadow, and Hui Tai Lang's shadow. And on the shadow's back, there was also Yu Bing's shadow, who was also in deep sleep. The Gemini Temple's rules would create a shadow that was exactly the same as the warrior's strength. Yu Yang summoned his grimoire and turned the golden beast on his wrist into a long dagger. The shadow opposite him also did the same thing. It was a complete copy. The only difference was that Yu Yang couldn't fight on his own, while the shadow opposite him had already raised its Hui Jin magic blade. It could be said that the stronger Yu Yang was, the faster he would lose this battle. If it was a weak scholar, he might be able to pass the Gemini Temple. However, the stronger one was, the faster they would lose. Can you speak? Yu Yang had sensed that the Gemini Temple had completely copied his strength. If they fought openly, he would definitely lose. If the Gemini Temple had completely copied his thoughts, it would be a good idea to let him pass. However, his hopes were dashed, because the shadow opposite him couldn't speak. It also didn't have any intelligence, only battle instincts. The shadow wore a half-crying, half-smiling golden mask on its face and slowly walked towards Yu Yang. The Bloody Queen's shadow flew up to the sky. The Little Thorny Flower Demoness summoned countless clumps of plants and started to take root. The Hui Tai Lang's shadow started to release its aura. The strongest shadow, Little Wan Li, followed behind the shadow Yu Yang. Yu Yang's eyes turned cold. This method of attack was something that he and Little Wan Li had practiced for a long time to form. He had just used it in the Taurus Palace, but he didn't expect the shadow to be able to replicate it so easily. What made Yu Yang secretly rejoice was that his innate level 1 strength could not be unsealed yet. As for the invisible sword chi, it seemed like it could not be detected by this world's laws, so there was no way for him to replicate it. Otherwise, he would have lost even more thoroughly. If the shadow in front of him knew how to use Nirvana's flame and world-exterminating wheel right from the start, then he wouldn't even need to fight anymore. Luckily, this Gemini Temple had only replicated Yu Yang's current strength on the surface. The beasts that were replicated in this Gemini Temple were also only replicated in the Little Wan Li and the others who had followed Yu Yang into this place. Spirit of Flame and Smoke, Quintet Seeking Golden Mice, Barbaric Cow Shadow, and the Spirit of Flame and Smoke were still in the dimension of dual. It seemed like this duplication was aimed at replicating beasts and abilities that could be replicated on the surface. However, just this alone was enough to make people despair. This was because the opponent had one more Yu Yang's shadow that could personally fight. The golden mask on the face of Yu Yang's shadow was a mysterious treasure. Yu Yang's level 4 divine vision couldn't completely see through its use. He only felt that this thing was related to duplication. Just like the three-headed chimera's golden bell under its holy goat's head and the golden hoop on the white bull's nose, this was also the key to victory. If he didn't snatch this golden mask, then he would definitely not be able to defeat the opponent, let alone pass this stage. The problem was, how could he snatch this golden mask from the shadow that had the same strength as him? The stronger he was, the stronger the opponent would be. He knew this when he turned the golden beast into a dagger just now. Originally, the golden beast didn't have this ability, but once he did it, the opponent's shadow would also have the same ability. Little Wenli shook her head and turned into a ray of rainbow light, floating into Yu Yang's body. Little Wenli's shadow swayed a little. It didn't disappear, but its strength had obviously weakened a lot. At most, it only had the strength of the white bull just now. Seeing that she couldn't summon her diamond grimoire, stone element Medusa, storm mermaid and thunder naga, Yu Yang heaved a sigh of relief. The current situation was extremely grim, but Yu Yang faintly had some inspiration. If he fought openly, he would definitely not be able to win. No matter how strong the opponent was, it would be useless. No one could easily defeat him. Furthermore, under the situation where he couldn't attack, it was even more impossible for anyone to defeat him. Right now, Yu Yang felt that his advantage was that he still had his hidden strength that could not be duplicated. The other point was that the opponent had no intelligence, only battle instinct. Since this Gemini temple was designed, there would definitely be a way to pass. However, before finding that way, everyone could only return with regret. While there was still a protective shield, would it be a good idea to directly rush into the left hall and the right hall to find a treasure that could restrain him, then rush into the back hall to pass the stage? With a thought, Yu Yang kept all of his beasts, carried his sister on his back, and flew towards the left hall like lightning. There was nothing inside. On the wall of the hall, there was a line of words: when the false becomes the true becomes the false. Gosh, do you think this is the dream of the Red Chamber? You're still talking nonsense. Yu Yang was really sweating profusely. While there was still time, he looked towards the right hall. On the wall of the hall, it wasn't the second half of the dream of the Red Chamber. Nothing exists, there exists nothing. Instead, there was a huge mask with half of its face crying and half smiling. Yu Yang wiped his sweat. Luckily, there wasn't a second half of the dream of the Red Chamber, otherwise, Yu Yang would think that the designer of the 12 zodiac temples was another guy from another world. Luckily, there was only a mask with half of its face crying and half smiling. Looks like the golden mask was the key to pass the stage. But how could he take it off the face of the shadow clone? When Yu Yang ran out again, he realized that the shadow clone was leisurely looking at him running around. It didn't seem to have any intention of attacking him. With the absolute defense barrier and the only item to pass the stage on the shadow clone's face, it obviously didn't need to care about Yu Yang's futile running around. It was completely at ease waiting in the middle of the wrestling arena. Its eyes were also the same as Yu Yang's usual expression, with an arrogant smile that wasn't a smile. This caused Yu Yang to go crazy. Forget it, it's not a good time to fight today. Yu Yang carried his sister on his back and ran out of the wrestling arena. The shadow clone didn't move, but the shadow little Wenli, the shadow bloody queen and the shadow thorny flower demoness all chased after them. When Yu Yang carried his sister into the teleportation circle and disappeared, all the shadows disappeared without a trace. The golden mask laid quietly on the ground, half of its face crying and the other half smiling. It was obviously very strange. In the past 10,000 years, no one had ever successfully passed the Gemini Temple. This was because no one had ever been able to win against the shadow clone who had the same strength as them under the situation where they couldn't do it themselves. When Yu Yang came out from the 12 zodiac temples, the few silver-armored guards looked at him in surprise. This was because they knew that this brat had already been in there for a few hours. Not only did he not die, he even carried his sister out. This brat seemed to be the one who came to sleep the last time. There were a few guards who could vaguely recognize him, but they didn't have a deep impression of him. The golden armored guard captain already knew that Yu Yang was an extremely strong warrior, but he was just hiding his strength. The completion rate of the last stage almost made him faint. In the golden armored guard captain's eyes, this brat might have successfully passed another stage. However, looking at Yu Yang's expression, he didn't look happy at all. His sister was still unconscious on his back. Maybe he had suffered a setback. Regarding this, the golden armored guard captain couldn't be 100% sure. Is there any trouble? Maybe you can get more information about the stage from the warrior guild. Your 2 companions have already left. The golden armored guard captain acted like he was going by the book, but when he brushed past Yu Yang, he whispered into Yu Yang's ears, making sure that only Yu Yang could hear him. Princess Sisai is tired of waiting, so she went back to rest. She said that she will wait for you at the Winchim Hotel. Thanks. Yu Yang left the 12 zodiac temples in big strides. If he could personally take action in the Gemini temple, Yu Yang wouldn't have left so quickly. He would have at least fought with him. But since he couldn't personally take action, and the shadow clone was so terrifying, Yu Yang would of course choose to escape. He went back and asked Princess Sisai, maybe that Rouge Tigress would have a good idea. Leaving the Star Domain, he returned to the entrance of the Warrior Guild. After passing through a few wide streets and 2 stone bridges, he finally found the Winchim Hotel, which was built in a small valley and was almost isolated from the outside world. Actually, there were quite a lot of people here. It felt like a mountain resort or a hot spring hotel before he transmigrated. Although it was a bit secluded, there were green mountains and clear waters. The scenery was pleasant. The guests liked this kind of elegance so naturally, there was an endless stream of them. Before Yu Yang could even get close, he was immediately stopped by a few tall and strong guards. They said that only nobles or level 3 heroes and above could come here. Even if they had money, it wouldn't be useful. I am the personal guard captain of City Mistress Fallen Flowers. I am here to see Princess Sisai. Yu Yang showed his identity, but the guards were a little suspicious. There are wild beasts in the forest. Please allow us to send someone to escort you. On the surface, the leader of the guards said that he was escorting him, but in reality, he was escorting him. He was afraid that Yu Yang would pretend to be him and take advantage of the loophole. If Princess Sisai didn't know him, then he would crush all the bones in Yu Yang's body and throw him out to feed the wild dogs. Do whatever you want. Yu Yang couldn't be bothered with these small people, so he turned and left. The leader of the guards and his 2 subordinates hurriedly followed. The Winchim Hotel was very big. It wasn't just a place to rest like a normal hotel. Yu Yang didn't know if there was a hot spring here, but there was everything to eat, drink and play. In front of them there were a few huge buildings. The leader of the guards gestured for Yu Yang to go to the front desk to ask. Who knew that before he entered the door, a maid wearing cotton clothes bowed respectfully. Welcome, distinguished guest. May I ask if you are the Yu clan's 3rd young master? Princess Sisai has been waiting for you for a long time. Please follow me. She brought Yu Yang to the highest level of the VIP area. The leader of the guards behind him wiped his cold sweat. Luckily he didn't rashly hit him, otherwise he would have to bear the consequences. Who would have thought that a young man with tattered clothes and a sleeping girl on his back would actually be the princess friend? Yu clan's 3rd young master, could it be that trash from the Yu clan? One of the guards asked suspiciously. It doesn't matter if he's trash or a genius, as long as he's from the Yu clan, we can't afford to offend him. The leader of the guards snorted coldly. The main reason why he didn't make a move just now was because Hui Tailang was following beside Yu Yang. Although they didn't have a contract, Hui Tai Lang, who was disguised as a bronze-ranked level 3 brave man, could still scare a lot of people. After all, the guards were all level 2 brave men, and only the leader of the guards was a level 3 hero. If it was Hui Tai Lang's previous bronze-ranked level 3 strength, he could also easily bite their bones. The servant girl who was leading the way brought Yu Yang to 2 connected luxurious residences. She then bowed and said, "This servant's status is low, so I can only bring you up to here. If third young master has any instructions, please play with the summoning wind chimes under the eaves of the door." Perhaps it was because it was called the Wind Chime Hotel, but there was a string of wind chimes under the eaves of every VIP's luxurious residences that jingled in the breeze. Yu Yang didn't care about the summoning wind chimes. He directly opened the fence of the garden and entered the house. He laid down Yu Bing on the soft bed. After searching for a while, he realized that Princess Sisai and his cousin Yu Yu were not there. However, their clothes and bags were in the other 2 rooms. Yu Yang's ears were very sharp. He heard the rustling sound of a shower in the bathroom of one of the rooms. His heart jumped. Could it be that Yenji Tigress was taking a shower? Her clothes were here, which proved that she was staying in this room. Of course, the one taking a shower would be her. Yu Yang quickly searched through the 2 connected luxurious residences. He realized that his cousin Yu Yu was not there. She might have gone out. Coincidentally, this was a heaven-sent opportunity. The time to peep had arrived. Back then, he was waiting for his divine vision to level up because he wanted to see through things. He wanted to peep openly like today. Didn't Yenji Tigress pretend to be mysterious and refuse to let him peep at her body? He wanted to see it, and he wanted to see to his heart's content. He wanted to see everything. Yu Yang's wolf's heart immediately burned. His heart rate increased by 100 times and his blood was boiling. Princess Sisai, Yenji Tigress's 6 records, inherent skill was very sharp. If he were to hide somewhere to peep, she would definitely find out. However, if he were to hide outside the door, separated by a wooden door, he could use his level 4 divine vision and naked eye ability to see through things. That wouldn't be called peeping, it would be called admiring the beauty of a human body openly. Although it would consume a little of his innate chi, in order to admire the most beautiful thing in the world, everything would be worth it. Yu Yang activated his level 4 divine vision and a naked eye ability. His innate chi condensed in his eyes. In an instant, Yu Yang's eyes shone with a golden light. The wooden door that originally separated the bathroom and the living room quickly became transparent. In the end, it became a transparent object that didn't obstruct his line of sight at all. Yu Yang secretly swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked inside. What entered his eyes was an incomparably exquisite and flawless snow-white naked body. Countless water droplets poured on top of it, but they slid down her ice-cold skin. The water droplets were sparkling and translucent, contrasting beautifully with her snow-white skin, making people gasp in amazement. The most beautiful scenery in the world couldn't be compared to this. Her jade-like back was flawless, and below it was her slender waist. Below it was her round and supple buttocks. That kind of perfect curve and shape almost made Yu Yang fly into the sky in excitement. His heartbeat increased to 300, his blood rushed to the top of his head, and a warm flow rose from his lower abdomen, spreading to his whole body. Her slender and white legs were filled with endless temptation. Especially when there was a mysterious place hidden deep within, it was even more captivating. It made people want to immediately explore the secret and see her beauty. No, this Rouge Tigress is too tempting. I didn't expect her to have such a good figure. Now that I'm suffocated, I might as well push down this Rouge Tigress first. In Yu Yang's mind, he had originally wanted to push down City Mistress Fallen Flowers first, because his chances of pushing down City Mistress Fallen Flowers was the highest. As for Princess Sisai, he felt that it wouldn't be easy. With Princess Sisai's temperament, She wasn't as easy to talk to as City Mistress Fallen Flowers. Of course, the most difficult person to push down was still the mysterious beauty. If he hadn't saved Fourth Mother that day and pulled down the mysterious beauty's veil, he wouldn't have known her true appearance. Yu Yang couldn't wait for City Mistress Fallen Flowers. He wanted to rush in and take a bath with Princess Sisai first, and push down this tigress first. Would Jun Wu Yu chase after him with a big knife in the future? Don't think about it, I'll just enjoy my blissful sexual life first. Thus Yu Yang, who was originally half naked, quickly took off his pants and prepared to jump up and kick the door open. At the same time, he would press down on Princess Sisai and push her down. At this moment, there was a sudden movement in the air outside. A few inaudible footsteps sounded. Yu Yang's pants were still in his hands. Before he could throw them on the ground, he realized that someone had pushed the door open and entered. At first, Yu Yang thought that the person who pushed the door open would be his cousin Yu Yu. He quickly wanted to put on his pants, but who knew that he would be dumbfounded when he saw who it was. The person who entered wasn't his cousin Yu Yu, but Princess Sisai. This rouge tigress was holding a small bottle filled with a pink liquid. He didn't know if it was perfume or body wash, but there was a flowery fragrance. Even if there was a stopper, it couldn't block the refreshing fragrance. Princess Sisai came in from outside? Then, who was the person bathing inside? Could it be that he had peeked at the wrong person? The person inside was his cousin Yu Yu. When Yu Yang thought of this, he immediately sweated profusely. You big pervert, what are you doing in my room? When Princess Qian saw that Yu Yang had also taken off his pants, he was almost naked. Although there was still a piece of cloth covering his body, a certain part of his body was raised up, as if it would break out of his body like a dragon at any time. She couldn't help but be embarrassed and shouted, "Get out of here! Who's outside? Is it Qian?" As expected, his cousin Yu Yu's voice came from inside. She stopped showering and asked with a raised voice, "It's me. It's me. Don't worry, you can continue bathing. I'll go to the Warriors Guild and bring back the charming fragrance flower dew that Luo Hua sent for you." Princess Qian also didn't know what her motive was, but she actually helped Yu Yang conceal this matter. However, Yu Yang couldn't leave, because Princess Sisai was glaring at him with her tiger-like eyes. With that expression, it seemed that if Yu Yang didn't give her a reasonable explanation, she would let Yu Yang have a taste of the power of her little white teeth. Yu Yang shrugged his shoulders and spread out his hands. He pretended to be at ease and shook his head. He said in the language of ants, "I didn't know there was someone inside, I was just about to take a shower. Luckily you came back. Tigress, if you look at me again, I'll call you molestation. Call me, try to be as loud as you can." Princess Sisai suddenly raised her voice and shouted towards the inside of the room, "Sister Yu, that brat Yu Yang is back." Yu Yang was so scared that his heart almost exploded. Luckily Yu Yu didn't open the door and poke her head out to take a look. Otherwise, she would see a naked man who was caught in the act of adultery standing in front of her. With Yu Yang's skills, it wouldn't be easy for Princess Sisai to stop him. However, when Yu Yang was about to teleport away, Princess Sisai only said one sentence and Yu Yang raised his hands in surrender. This was because Princess Sisai said, "If you dare to leave, I'll tell your fourth mother and sister Yu Bing." How could Yu Yang not surrender? He pitifully stretched out his arms and hugged Princess Sisai's fragrant shoulders. He nodded seriously, "Your Highness, I know you've wanted to push me down for a long time. However, can I make a request? Can you give me some milk powder money after I'm done with the H business?" As soon as he said this, Princess Sisai stared at him for a full 3 minutes, as if she was looking at a monster. Yu Yang thought that he had completely shocked Tigress, and was feeling very pleased in his heart. Who knew that Princess Sisai would react and make an extremely valiant move, causing Yu Yang to scream in pain and happiness. Chapter 203. Princess Sisai moved closer, her cherry lips moist, as if she wanted to kiss Yu Yang. Yu Yang was very excited at that moment. He thought to himself, could it be that this tigress rouge really wanted to push him down? Seeing her slowly moving downwards, Yu Yang's heart beat rapidly. This girl couldn't be thinking of giving him that, right? She really wanted to give him a bite. Princess Sisai's cherry lips parted slightly, her tongue as nimble as a red carp. She moved closer to Yu Yang's chest, as if she wanted to kiss him all the way down, letting Yu Yang die from pleasure. Heavens, this tigress rouge really liked to take the initiative to push him down. Yu Yang was very excited. He felt that he should give her this chance. Anyway, in the process of her pushing him down, he could just take the initiative. At that time, it wouldn't matter who pushed who, they would just push each other. Who would have thought that she would bite Yu Yang's chest with her little white teeth, causing Yu Yang to scream in pain? Is it a mistress? What's happening? Don't fight. His cousin Yu could vaguely hear the commotion outside. She thought that Yu Yang and Princess Sisai, the two little enemies, were fighting. She quickly wiped her body with a towel and prepared to stop them. It's nothing, Yu Yang hurriedly replied. He wanted to grab Princess Qian and ruthlessly throw her out of the house, but unfortunately, her attacking strategy had changed. Her little white teeth no longer bit him. Instead, she used her little pink tongue to lick the place where she had bitten him, and kissed him with her cherry lip. Incomparably gentle. In the end, she even blew on him gently, just like a well-behaved wife. Although Yu Yang was in pain, seeing this girl's gentle performance and comfortable service, he couldn't bear to throw her out. He slowly lowered his raised hand. Just as Yu Yang was about to forgive her, Princess Sisai's hand pinched Yu Yang's butt, causing him to jump in pain. Only now did Yu Yang understand. This girl wasn't just biting, she was really biting. She even used her tiger claws to pinch people's buttocks. What a typical violent woman. I can't stand her. Of course, Yu Yang was not someone to be trifled with. He was extremely vengeful, and he would definitely return the losses he suffered 100-fold. Hence, Yu Yang was prepared to press this girl to the ground, tear off her clothes, bite her chest 100 times, lick her 100 times, and pinch her but no less than 100 times. Princess Sisai wanted to escape, but Yu Yang angrily caught this little seductress and pressed her down on the carpet. He raised his wolfish claws, preparing to use the 36 ways of stripping hands. The wooden door creaked. Yu seemed to be coming out. This time, not only Yu Yang, even the struggling Princess Sisai immediately bounced up. A smile blossomed on their faces at the same time, and they held each other's hands tightly. Princess Sisai smiled like a tigress pretending to be a fox. So Yu Yang is back. Welcome. I wonder how was your progress in the 12 zodiac temples? Did it go smoothly? Yu Yang's movements were faster than Princess Sisai. When he jumped up, he had even put on his trousers properly. He also revealed a smile. Thank you, Your Highness, for your concern. Yu Bing and I have already successfully passed the first round. Passing the round is a piece of cake. Lowering his voice, he whispered into Princess Sisai's ears. Tigress, if I don't take revenge, I'm not a gentleman. If I don't take care of you, I'm not Yu Yang. Just you wait. Let me tell you, Tigress, if you strip naked later and surrender yourself, I might consider torturing you a little less. Otherwise, I'll rape first then kill, rape again then kill. When Princess Sisai heard this, she smiled like a vixen. She replied in the same whisper. You want to scare me? It won't be that easy. If you have the ability, then do it now. She then raised her voice so that Yu could hear her. She said to Yu Yang, Congratulations, Yu Yang. It's been so many years since someone has successfully passed the 12 zodiac temples. You're indeed the pervert among the perverts. Ah no, you're indeed the hero among the youths. Cousin Yu knew that these two were enemies on a narrow road. Even a blind person could see that the two of them had some feelings for each other, but their personalities and tempers clashed. Currently, they were still in a state of being enemies. She had actually not put on her clothes yet. Her body was wrapped in a snow-white towel. She was worried that Yu Yang and Princess Sisai would fight, so she quickly opened the door and poked her head out to take a look. When she saw that the two of them were shaking hands and laughing, she couldn't help but be happy. "It's good that you're fine. You guys sit down, I'll be out soon. I've iced some sour plum soup just now. It's in the cupboard. You guys drink it first." She closed the door and put on her clothes. Outside, Yu Yang and Princess Sisai immediately turned hostile and made a move. This time, both of their strengths were about the same. No one was able to suppress the other as they both fell onto the carpet. Yu Yang had a lot of strength in his hands, but Princess Sisai's body was soft. Her hands were not enough, so she added on her long leg. Her jade-like leg hooked onto Yu Yang's right arm, while her hands clamped onto Yu Yang's left arm. Her body was entangled with Yu Yang's, not giving him a chance to exert his strength. The two of them were in a very ambiguous position. However, both of them were not aware of it. They only wanted to take each other down. "Surrender now. Otherwise, I'll use my ultimate move." Yu Yang felt that he needed to teach this girl a lesson. He wanted her to understand what it meant to be a husband. Never. Princess Sisai's attitude was that she would never surrender. She knew that Yu Yang wouldn't dare to use too much strength. If Yu heard the noise of their fight, it would be hard to explain. He could only silently exert his strength. On the other hand, she had the support of her beast. Even if she didn't use her full strength, she would still be able to resist Yu Yang for the time being. "You're courting death." Yu Yang didn't want to compete with her. He immediately used his 36 ways of stripping. He didn't remember a famous saying from a pervert. No matter how strong a woman was, once she was stripped naked, she wouldn't be able to defeat a man. This girl was Rouge Tigress. She wasn't easy to tame. However, as long as he stripped her naked, she would definitely become an obedient little lamb. Suddenly, the sound of light footsteps came from outside. Then, he heard Yu Bing calling for her brother. In a second, Yu Yang turned from a big pervert to a good brother. He immediately let go of Princess Sisai and jumped up to reply, "Bing it's all right now. We're back." Princess Sisai hurriedly tidied up her clothes, afraid that Yu Bing would misunderstand if she came out and saw her clothes in disarray. She even used her eyes to ask Yu Yang, asking him to check if there was anything wrong with her body. Yu Yang reached out his hand and helped her tidy up her collar with a serious expression. Then, with lightning speed, he pinched her towering chest. It was so painful that Princess Sisai almost cried. Yu Bing ran out from inside and looked at the luxurious residence in surprise. She didn't notice Princess Sisai, who was clutching her chest. She clicked her tongue in admiration and said, "Where is this? This house is too beautiful. It's decorated like a palace. This was rented by Her Royal Highness, of course it wouldn't be bad. There's still some iced sour plum soup in the cabinet. I'll pour some for you to drink." Yu Yang was too pleased with himself. He had ambushed Tigress and even made her speechless. He believed that she would definitely remember this deeply. Even if they became an old couple in the future, she wouldn't forget this day. Let her bite people, let her pinch him, let her be proud of herself. Yu Yang faced Princess Sisai's murderous gaze and whistled nonchalantly. He ran to the cabinet and took out a big bowl of iced sour plum soup. Princess Sisai was filled with hatred. She really wanted to kick this brat to the highest heavens. Stingy brat. She only bit him lightly and didn't even bear to use force. She didn't expect him to pinch her so hard. That place was incomparably tender, she almost died from the pain. To think that she trusted him. She didn't think that this brat, if she had known earlier, she would have bitten off a piece of flesh from his chest and let him die from the pain. What made Princess Sisai the most depressed was that Yu Bing came out. She was too embarrassed to rub her chest in front of Yu Bing, so she could only endure it. When Yu Yang poured the iced sour plum soup into 4 bowls, he first passed 1 bowl to Yu Bing, then sat down heavily beside Princess Sisai. He used the ant language to send a message to her, asking complacently, "How is it? Is it very comfortable?" Princess Sisai really wanted to pour the entire bowl of sour plum soup on Yu Yang's face. However, she acted as if nothing had happened. When she leaned forward to pick up the bowl, she replied in the ant language, "You big pervert, I'm not done with you." When she saw that Yu Bing, who had just washed her face with water, turned around, she immediately welcomed her with a smile. "Bing heir, tell me about the process of your battle. Have you already succeeded? Come, sit next to me." Yu Bing happily received the small bowl. Sitting on the other side of Princess Sisai, she nodded. "It's all thanks to Big Brother. How could I have beaten them? You should ask Big Brother. I was stunned by the big explosion. I'm not clear about what happened afterwards." In the bathroom, Yu, who had changed into a new set of clothes, also carried the fragrance of her bath. She sat opposite Yu Yang. "Little San, quickly tell me, how did you pass the round?" Smelling Yu's fragrance, Yu Yang's heart suddenly sensed something. His mind trembled slightly. This fragrance seemed to be a little familiar. Although it wasn't exactly the same, there was a kind of fragrance that was very similar. On the bodies of all the girls, including Princess Sisai, City Lord Fallen Flowers, and the mysterious beauty, there was that kind of mysterious fragrance. Yu Yang didn't pay much attention to it in the past, because it was normal for girls to smell good. They also liked to spray some perfume on their bodies and wear some perfume sachets. However, after a long time, Yu Yang realized that no matter how different they were, they all had the same kind of fragrance. Usually, it wasn't easy to notice. However, Yu had just come out of the bath, and the fragrance she emitted was especially obvious. Could it be that this was the legendary virgin body fragrance? This wasn't what shocked Yu Yang the most. What made Yu Yang feel the most inconceivable was that the impatiens, who he had intimate contact with twice before, actually had this kind of fragrance on her body. She was a sky demon who had sucked countless men dry. She was known as the 10,000 Slayer. How could it be possible? But if this fragrance wasn't the fragrance of a virgin, how could ordinary women not have it? Yu Yang couldn't confirm it, but he secretly paid attention to it. He had to get to the bottom of this. That impatiens really had a lot of mysteries. "Everyone is talking to you." Princess Sisai realized that this brat was in a daze, so she knocked his head with her fist. "Ah, nothing, I was thinking about the Gemini Temple's shadow clone." Of course, Yu Yang couldn't say that after smelling his cousin's fragrance, he suspected that impatiens was a virgin. He hurriedly returned to the topic of discussion. "We've already passed the Taurus Temple, but we can't pass the Gemini Temple. You guys can come up with some ideas. This is what happened during the battle. You've passed the Aries Temple and the Taurus Temple?" Princess Sisai and Yu were both shocked. Not only them, even Yu Bing didn't know that Yu Yang had passed the Aries Temple by himself. "That's all in the past. What I'm worried about now is how to pass the Gemini Temple." Yu Yang would rather challenge 10 white bulls than challenge the shadow clone. Regarding Yu Yang's success in passing the Gemini Temple, Princess Sisai really wanted to shout at this brat that he was a freak. Of course, when it comes to proper business, she wasn't against Yu Yang. She knitted her brows, nodded lightly and said, "The Gemini Temple and the Virgo Temple are the 2 strongest temples. The Gemini Temple completely duplicates the challenger's strength. No matter what the challenger has, the shadow clone will also have the same strength. You don't know, the scariest thing about the Gemini Temple is that the shadow that wears the Gemini golden mask will never die. Even if you kill it 100 times, it will continuously revive and maintain the same strength as the challenger. So, you won't be able to pass the Gemini Temple by force. Your action of leaving the Gemini Temple is very correct. The Gemini Temple is very difficult to pass, Normal warriors avoid it and don't want to challenge it. If you want to pass the Gemini Temple, you must think of a way to pass it. I can say for sure that there must be a way to pass the Gemini Temple, it's just that we haven't found it yet. I've heard of a way before, although it didn't succeed, but maybe you can use it as a reference. Yu Yu's words immediately made Yu Yang's eyes lit up. Sister Yu, quickly tell me. Yu Bing sincerely hoped that her brother would be able to pass all the Gemini temples and become the first warrior to pass all the Gemini temples. As long as he passed the Gemini Temple and the Virgo Temple, she believed that her brother would definitely be able to pass the other 8 temples. Climbing to the peak and surpassing the 10,000-year record was right in front of him. Yu Bing believed that her brother was the one with the most hope. The only regret was that her brother was too strong, which made the Gemini Temple's challenges even more difficult. If it was her who challenged the Gemini Temple, the difficulty might not be as high as her brother's. It was a pity that she couldn't help her brother. Yu Bing, who was secretly anxious, was overjoyed when she heard the good news from Yu Yu. Yu Yu smiled slightly and signaled to Yu Yang and Yu Bing not to be anxious. She said gently, "In the past, my mentor's mentor was a healer and didn't have any killing power. When she went to challenge the Gemini Temple, her shadow also didn't have any killing power. Furthermore, before she entered the Gemini Temple, she thought of a way to injure herself severely and then crawl into the Gemini Temple. Her shadow also fell to the ground heavily injured and couldn't stop her. With her willpower, she crawled into the arena and obtained the golden mask. However, when she entered the back palace and was about to succeed, she found out that there was a strong beast inside. She couldn't fight it and had no choice but to summon her grimoire to heal herself and escape from the Gemini Temple. Although she failed, she was the one who was closest to success." Yu Yang thought for a while and asked, "What was the strong beast in the back palace of the Gemini Temple?" Princess Sisai and Yu Bing also looked at Yu Yu. They also wanted to know the truth. Facing everyone's curious gaze, Yu Yu waved her hands lightly. "I don't know either. My mentor didn't say anything. I asked her at that time, but she didn't say anything." "Then let's go ask your mentor." Although Princess Qian hated Yu Yang to the core and always wanted to bite him to death, she was still very concerned about his matters, especially in regards to his future. "Is it really okay to do this? Maybe my mentor has something that she can't say, or maybe she doesn't know. Otherwise, when I barged into her that year, she would have answered me instead of remaining silent." Yu Yu respected her mentor more, but when she saw the determination in Princess Sisai's eyes and the desire on Yu Bing's face, her heart softened. She then looked at Yu Yang, who was still deep in thought, and nodded her head lightly. "All right, but if my mentor doesn't want to say anything, we can't force her. That year, my mentor had warned me not to tell anyone else. Let's go." Seeing that Yu Yang was still deep in thought, Princess Sisai pulled him up with one hand. "What's the use of just thinking about it? Let's go and ask about the situation first, then you can slowly think about it later." Chapter 204. Yu Yang and his entourage returned to Shangjing. Yu Yu's mentor stayed in a quiet little house in Shangjing Academy. She was an old lady with hair as white as snow. She wore plain clothes and had a calm and peaceful demeanor. When she saw Yu Yu coming in, she nodded her head slightly. Her eyes were filled with affection as she gestured for everyone to sit down. "Princess Sisai, all of you sit down. Didn't you go to Tong Tian Tower with the princess? Why are you back?" "Teacher, this is my third brother. He wants to know more about Grandmaster's challenge in the Gemini Temple." Yu Yu sat in front of the old lady and held her hand. "Yours third brother? And he's a good child. Take a seat, don't stand on ceremony." The old lady sized up Yu Yang seriously and nodded, completely different from what the legends say. "At such a young age, you already know how to hide like a dragon in the abyss. Not bad. Why are you talking about the past?" Yu Yu hurriedly explained. My third brother wants to challenge the 12 zodiac temples. Now that he has passed the Aries and Taurus temples, he has stopped at the Gemini temple. I told him about Grandmaster's challenge in the past, hoping to give him some inspiration. In the end, Princess Sisai felt that it would be best for me to ask you personally. If Grandmaster has a rule that it cannot be told to outsiders, then I won't ask. Past the Aries and Taurus temples? When the old lady heard, her body trembled slightly. She looked at Yu Yang again. It has been a long time since such an outstanding youth has appeared in Xia. This is a good thing. Speaking about the challenge in the Gemini temple, it is actually not a secret that cannot be told to outsiders. Alright, I will tell you about it. Thank you, teacher. Yu happily held the old lady's hand and placed it on her face. She and the old lady were very close, just like how a mother and daughter interacted. If not for their master-disciple relationship and the huge age gap between them, it would have been easy for others to misunderstand. Yu Yang didn't know about it before, but he found out later that Yu didn't have much status in the Yu clan castle. Firstly, her father, Yu Shan, only focused on nurturing his son, Yu Tian, and didn't care too much about his daughter, who was going to be married off in the future. Secondly, Yu's inherent skill and guardian beast were both healing type, so they weren't very useful and weren't worth nurturing. Thirdly, the marriage alliance failed. This wasn't because Yu hadn't found a husband, nor was it because her fiancé had died young. It was because her fiancé's family, the Xie clan, was very powerful now. They wanted to surpass and replace the Yu clan to become one of the 4 great clans. Before the Xie clan had developed, they had always been very respectful towards the Yu clan. The clan master Xie Tao had also often tried to curry favor with Yu Shan. After that, 2 people from the Xie clan became level 7 overlord. They were Xie Nu, who had the nickname 8,000 Miles Killer, and Xie Tu, who had the nickname Exterminating Weeds at the root. This caused the strength of the Xie clan to increase tremendously. With the support of the Yan clan, one of the 4 major clans, they became even more powerful. If it weren't for the fact that their foundations were still shallow and they weren't recognized by the outside world, they would have long been known as the 5 great clans. There were also many geniuses within the younger generation of the Xie clan. For example, the pitiful guy's former rival in love, Xie Qianren, was one of the brightest among the younger generation. He was extremely famous and was on par with the Yu clans Yu Tian and Yu Yan. He was only ranked below the 3 great killing stars, Feng Qisha, Yan Pejun and Xue Tanlang. Xie Tao, who used to crazily flatter the Yu clan's substitute clan master Yu Shan, had become increasingly arrogant ever since he became the city master of Blade Peak City. This time, in the business with the Yu clan, the Xie clan first sold the goods for money. After that, they sent people to disguise themselves as bandits to snatch the goods back and resell them to others. This blow caused the Yu clan to lose a lot of money. At the same time, it was also the beginning of the enmity between the 2 clans. The Xie clan denied this matter flatly. Even Jun Wuyu was furious. However, the Xie clan seemed to have someone supporting them from behind. Their tone was extremely unyielding. In the end, the Yu clan's investigation was fruitless, and they could only suffer in silence. The Yu clan and the Xie clan had fallen out with each other and no longer had any relations with each other. However, the marriage between Yu and the eldest of the younger generation of the Xie clan, Xie Qianqiu, was not cancelled. However, even a blind person could see that the marriage between the 2 clans had completely failed. The Yu clan had no excuse to reject the marriage. However, the Xie clan was malicious and wanted to defile the Yu clan's second miss no matter what. They insisted on not cancelling the marriage. Not only that, the Xie clan had also sent people to urge Yu to drop out of school, so that they could get married as soon as possible. In reality, Xie Qianqiu had already married into the Lai clan. He had a wife and concubines at home. At the same time, he was also the most famous playboy in Shangjing Academy. Xie Qianqiu, who was known as the school bell killer, was notorious for playing with beautiful girls. He was completely different from Yan Pejun, who was a handsome man who loved women. Yan Pejun also had countless women throwing themselves at him, but his reputation was not bad. At least he would not be like Xie Qianqiu, who proudly announced that he had completed the 1,000-women banquet. Yu Yu's mother was not the main wife and had passed away early. The main wife's attitude towards Yu Yu was normal. She was not loving, but she was not cold either. In front of others, she would even pretend to care about her daughter. As for Yu Yu's marriage, she had tacitly accepted it. The Yu clan would not be able to find an excuse to cancel the marriage anyway. Yu Yang was not very clear about Yu Yu's matters in the past. However, when he went to the Ivy Academy to study and went to the Despair Abyss to adventure, Yu Bing told him about it. Only then did he know that this gentle and quiet cousin of his did not have a good fate. At the very least, he could foresee that her fate would be tragic. Take a seat. The old woman lovingly caressed Yu Yu's little face and sighed. The matter of the trial that year had tarnished our reputation. That's why our descendants are not willing to talk about it. In the Gemini Temple, all the challengers who obtained the golden mask would meet a second shadow in the back palace. The second shadow is the exact opposite of the first shadow. Not only is its gender the opposite, its power is also fixed at gold-ranked level 6. It will not change as the original body changes like the first shadow. What you mean is that the second shadow that a man meets is a woman, and the second shadow that a woman meets is a man. Yu Yang was startled when he heard that. That's right. Because my grandmaster was heavily injured, her fiancé and her family suspected that my grandmaster was humiliated by a different body and rejected the marriage. In order to prove her innocence, my grandmaster asked the Empress to prove her innocence. However, even with the truth in front of her, she was still unable to change her lover's heart. In the end, she jumped into the sea to prove her innocence. The shadow in the Gemini Temple is only an illusory shadow. It would not humiliate the original body. In order to find the truth, my master had tried many different methods to enter the Gemini Temple to test it. In the end, it proved that no matter what, the second shadow would not do anything to humiliate the original body. The truth that my grandmaster was wronged was because her fiancé was trying to curry favor with the rich and powerful. He had found an excuse to marry the left minister's daughter. The second shadow and the first shadow were called Gemini, but the second shadow was the real beast that guarded the Gemini Temple. It would not allow any challengers to enter the back palace. Other than that, it would not participate in battles. Furthermore, before the golden mask falls into the hands of the challengers, the second shadow would not appear. When the old woman talked about the past, Yu Bing, Princess Sisai and the others couldn't help but sigh. Slandering her virginity because of the trial, that Grandmaster's fiancé's way of thinking was really exaggerated and vicious. That Grandmaster had really chosen the wrong person, and had chosen the wrong fiancé. Princess Sisai was extremely shocked by this matter. She felt that she couldn't choose the wrong fiancé, and couldn't end up like that Grandmaster. She turned her head and looked at Yu Yang. She felt that although this brat was fickle and full of lust, wanting to push down women all day, he was still not bad in other aspects. Firstly, he took care of his family. No matter if it was fourth mother or Yu Bing, he would rush over to save them at the first moment. If he married a wife, she believed that he would be a good husband who would take good care of his wife. Secondly, he still had some basic morals. He would say whatever he wanted to say, and would not do anything hypocritical in the dark. As for other aspects, such as fighting, he was 1 in a million. Although she didn't want to admit that this brat was very outstanding, compared to other guys, this brat seemed to be a pretty good choice. His only problem was that he was fickle. This brat was a typical big pervert, falling in love with whoever he saw. Furthermore, he was extremely possessive. Luckily she didn't have any male friends, otherwise this brat might have chopped that unlucky guy to death. Through the historical lesson of Grandmaster Yu choosing the wrong fiancé, Princess Sisai felt that she should think about it carefully. After all, this was a big matter in her life. Marriage, once she chose the wrong fiancé, she would be finished. Would the Zijin Kingdom's prince, who came to propose, really be better than Yu Yang? Would the Floating Mist sect's junior sect leader, whom she had never met before, really be better than Yu Yang, the big pervert? Her father didn't ask her to have a political marriage, this was her fortune. Hence, she had to choose carefully, and not ruin her life just because of a moment of anger. Yu Yang didn't know that Princess Sisai was placing him on the scale in her heart, comparing him with everyone else. He was thinking about an important question. Why did the first shadow clone have to wear the golden mask? Why did the second shadow clone only appear after losing the golden mask? If he kept the golden mask, or brought it out of the Gemini temple, what would happen? This is my master's battle diary, I'll give it to you as a reference. The old lady gave Yu Yang a diary, which detailed all the information about the Gemini temple, and even had all kinds of hand-drawn pictures. Yu Yang was overjoyed. After bidding farewell to the old lady, he couldn't wait to read the diary. Princess Sisai saw that this brat was too obsessed with the diary, and couldn't help but give him a punch. The guy from another world waved his hands. Go away, go away. You can look at me after I'm done. If you touch me again, I'll sue you for sexual harassment. Princess Qian was usually fine when she heard this, but with Yu and Yu Bing by her side, she felt extremely awkward. Embarrassed, she punched Yu Yang again. Yu Yang was curious. What's wrong with this girl? Is she addicted to hitting me? He raised his fist and was about to beat up Tigress, but Yu hurriedly pulled his hand. Don't be angry, it's a good thing that she hit you. What? Yu Yang was confused. Being hit by her is a good thing? If it's someone else, she wouldn't even hit them. Hee, alright, stop reading, we're all hungry. Why don't we find a place to eat? Yu realized that when Princess Sisai looked at her brother, her eyes seemed to be a little different. There was a mysterious light in her eyes, or perhaps, the light that was there before was even brighter. Yu felt that Princess Sisai might have made a decision that she didn't have before because of her grandmaster's tragedy. With a woman's intuition, she was naturally happy for her brother. While she was happy, she felt that her brother was really an idiot. Girls were usually more reserved. If she wasn't a little interested in boys, would she act like a spoiled child towards him? Moreover, that fist was so soft that it couldn't even kill a mosquito. How was this hitting someone? This was simply enjoyment. This stupid brother of hers didn't know how lucky he was. Yu was afraid that Princess Sisai would be shy, so she didn't say anything. She just stopped Yu Yang, who was going to hit her back. Not to mention Yu, even Yu Bing, who didn't know what love was, could see that Princess Sisai was a little interested in her brother. At this moment, she was covering her mouth and secretly laughing at her brother's stupidity. She felt that her brother first mistook Sister Inan as a man, and now he thought that Princess Sisai hit him. She even thought that her brother had been staying at home for too long, so he didn't understand a girl's heart at all. To be precise, Yu Yang was an otaku, but he was definitely not an idiot. He was just playing dumb. Princess Sisai, this rouge tigress, he would never let her slip away from his hands. As for now, he would play with her first, and it wouldn't be too late to find a good opportunity to deal with her. Hey, isn't this my little wife? I heard that my little wife is as pure as ice and as clean as jade. Even I, her legitimate fiancé, can't touch her, as if there's gold lining down there. Now, how can she pull and do illicit things with a man? If you guys want to do it, don't do it in front of me. No matter what, I'm still a fiancé, okay? If I knew that you're a hypocritical slut, I would have ked you to death. I thought you were really chaste, but it turns out that you're just a slut. A strange voice sounded from the side of the boulevard. A man swaggered out. Chapter 205. Yu Yang turned his head and saw that it was a tall and skinny man dressed in a white robe. His appearance was still passable, but his face was pale as if he had been drinking too much. Yu Yang saw that this person's eyebrows were filled with craftiness. His long and narrow eyes, thin lips and hooked nose made him look like a mean person. Not only did he have his hair draped over his shoulders, he even had many small braids beside his ears. His attire was neither fish nor fowl, but this guy still felt good about himself. Princess Sisai frowned. She originally wanted to use her tigress eyes to stare at this arrogant and filthy guy to death. She turned her head to look at Yu Yang and decided to give this opportunity to him. Big matters should be left to men to handle. In the past, she listened to her father. Now, she would just let this brat handle it. She lightly pulled Yu Bing, indicating that she would leave the matter to Yu Yang, and everyone just had to wait for a good show. At first, Princess Sisai was a little worried that the idiot opposite her would recognize her and run away in fear. She didn't expect that her worries were completely unnecessary. The vulgar man sized up the three women, but he didn't recognize Princess Qian Qian, who wasn't carrying a heavy sword or wearing silver armor. Instead, she was wearing a light warrior's attire. He didn't pay much attention to Princess Qian Qian, and only felt that she was a great beauty with a heroic spirit. He couldn't tell that she was an expert. Finally, the vulgar man looked at Hui Tailang, who was behind Yu Yang. Yu Yang guessed that the reason why this idiot looked at Hui Tailang was because he thought that Hui Tailang was a bronze-ranked level 3 iron-backed demonic wolf. "It's you?" Yu recognized who the person was. Her jade-like face instantly turned frosty. She snorted coldly. "Xue Qian Qiu, although spitting sh*t is your specialty, can you not show off? Even if your eyes are not grown properly, they should not be born on your buttock. Which eyes of yours saw me pulling and pulling?" "I saw it with both my eyes." "You slut, you are still pulling and pulling with this adulterer. Isn't he just a bronze-ranked level 3 dog? You think I didn't? My golden-eyed great ape is already bronze-ranked level 4, and the ox-head warrior is also bronze-ranked level 4. I'm so powerful, but I don't even dare to show off. What's a dog like you? You stinking whore. Do you think you can turn against me just because you found a pretty boy? You want to break off the engagement? Dream on." The tall and skinny man called Xue Qian Qiu laughed evilly. However, even though he was arrogant, he did not dare to be careless. Seeing Grey Wolf roaring, he immediately took out a red crystal and summoned a strengthening-type gorilla. A red light flashed, and the gorilla fused with his body. His originally thin body was full of blood and veins, and his muscles bulged. He turned into a 2-meter-tall muscular man. His shirt was torn apart by his bulging muscles, and his originally white pig-like body gradually turned into that of a gorilla, with thick hair growing on it. Xie Qian Qiu, who had increased his combat power after the bronze-ranked level 4 giant golden-eyed ape, was extremely arrogant. Following that, he proudly summoned a bronze-ranked level 4 ox-head warrior, looking as if he wanted to scare Yu Yang to death. He pointed at Yu Yang and arrogantly snorted, "Pretty boy, kneel down in front of me now and lick my toes." Yu reckoned that if Yu Yang were to make a move, he would be able to kill this idiot in a second. Although she hated Xie Qian Qiu, she did not want Yu Yang to turn against the Xie clan because of her. She rushed to scold him. "How shameless, Xie Qian Qiu, who do you think you are? How dare you be so arrogant here? Get lost, don't act like a fool here. This is not your Xie clan's courtyard, don't show off here." Xie Qian Qiu was furious when he heard that. You slut, don't think that just because you have the Yu clan supporting you, you can act like a virtuous lady. You are going to graduate soon, and once you graduate, it will be your wedding date. At that time, you will be my female slave, and I will *ck you however I want. There are only a few days left. You can pretend to be pure and innocent. You can even say that your stinky lower part is inlaid with gold. Haha, what's the use of that? Aren't you just a piece of trash that can be defiled by me? You, I have tolerated you, this hypocritical whore, for a long time. I have finally caught you today. So you are not some gold-inlaid jade, but a slut who can be a husband to anyone. Ha, now that I have caught you red-handed, let's see how the Yu clan can protect you. Yu was so angry that her face turned pale. Her whole body was trembling, and she was so angry that she could not say a word. Yu Yang looked on coldly from the side, letting this clown continue his performance. Level 4 Divine Vision could see through many things. For example, this Xie Qianqiu's beast could be considered as a high-leveled beast among his peers. However, Yu Yang's Divine Vision could see that this kind of bronze-ranked level 4 beast was raised using magic crystals. Even if it was a bronze-ranked level 4 beast, it might not even be comparable to a bronze-ranked level 3 beast that other people had painstakingly raised. From this, it could be deduced that the Xie clan's sudden increase in power was actually because they had the support of a powerful and wealthy person behind the scenes. This kind of leveling up without time and accumulation of foundation was just a method to hasten success. It might look very impressive on the surface, but in reality it was just trash. Yu Yang did not know who the person behind the scenes supporting the Xie clan was, but through Xie Qianqiu, he was already 80% sure that it was the person behind the scenes. The Xie clan was only a chess piece that the person behind the scenes had placed in front of them. Their purpose was to deal with the Yu clan and even the 4 great clans. With Xie Qianqiu's strength, let alone Feng Qisha, Yan Pejun and Xue Tanlang, the 3 true killing stars, he was still far from the Yu clan's younger generation, Yu Tian, Yu Yen and even Yu Ting. According to his strength, Yu Yang estimated that this Xie Qianqiu's strength would at most be on par with the Yu clan's weakest, Yu Bao. If they really fought, Xie Qianqiu would most likely lose to Yu Bao since he did not have a summoning grimoire. Just based on his drunken body and his 2 bronze-ranked level 4 beasts that were raised using magic crystals, Yu Yang could defeat him with a single finger. However, Yu Yang decided to let this idiot perform for a while. The more Xie Qianqiu said, the more arrogant he would be. Then, he would have more reason to stand up for Yu. Later on, when he bullied him, he would be able to vent his anger even more. The more this arrogant person said, the more mistakes he made. Didn't the Xie clan not want to break off the engagement no matter what? Now that Xie Qianqiu had said it like that, he would turn against him mercilessly. There was no turning back now. At that time, let's see how the Xie clan would protect him. Yu's tragic fate. It was fine if Yu Yang did not know about it in the past. But now that he knew about it, he would definitely not let it happen. Although he did not interact much with this cousin of his, Yu, he knew that she was gentle and refined. She had treated the pitiful guy quite well in the past, so he did not mind helping her out. At this time, a woman came out from the thicket on the tree-lined avenue. She had a voluptuous bosom and a flirtatious appearance. Her clothes were untidy, and her breasts could be vaguely seen through her half-covered clothes. It was obvious that she was having sex with Xie Qianqiu in the thicket just now. From afar, Princess Sisai, whose 6 records was very sensitive, could smell the obscene smell coming from this woman's body. She immediately frowned and pulled Yu and Yu Bing back a few steps with her small hands. When they retreated like this, Xie Qianqiu thought that they were scared off by him, and laughed out loud proudly. When the flirtatious woman saw Yu, her sharp, unkind and venomous words were like a volcano eruption. The content of her scolding was simply unbearable. Yu was so angry that she was trembling. In the end, she endured it and pulled Yu Yang. Xiao San, don't care about this adulterous couple. Let's go. You want to leave? It won't be that easy. Xie Qianqiu leaped up high, flying more than 10 meters in the air, and landed heavily in the middle of the road opposite them. He raised both of his arms up high, blocking the way. His ox-head warrior advanced step by step. His target was Hui Tailang, who had a slightly lazy demeanor. Hui Tai Lang was originally very warlike, but he had killed too many strong beasts recently. He had killed silver-ranked beasts and gold-ranked beasts before. Hence, Hui Tai Lang was a little dispirited towards the bronze-ranked level 4 Oxhead warrior. Kneel down and use your mouth to suck it out for me. If you make me feel good, I can consider letting you live. Otherwise, I will *CK you to death right here. As for you, pretty boy, kneel down and bark like a dog. If I don't tell you to stop, you can't stop even for a second. Otherwise, not only will I chop off your dog head, I will also exterminate your whole family. Actually, this was not the first time that Xie Qianqiu had done this kind of thing. He had done such things in broad daylight, raping women and exterminating people's families countless of times. If he was in a place with many people, he might have restrained himself a little. However, this area was the most secluded and most inaccessible place in Shangjing Academy. It was a scenic mountain forest where some of the older teachers recuperated. On this tree-lined path, there wouldn't be any students walking around even after a long time. Xie Qianqiu felt that if he didn't seize this opportunity to *CK these three beautiful girls, he would be letting himself down. One must know that it wasn't every day that he could meet such a beautiful girl. Xie Qianqiu started to take off his pants. When the three girls saw this, they immediately turned around and spat in unison. They had seen vulgar people before, but they had never seen such a vulgar person. Princess Sisai punched Yu Yang's shoulder. "Dead man, what are you still doing here? Quickly go and get rid of him." That flirtatious woman was enraged upon hearing this. She summoned a strengthening type normal level 3 female leopard. After fusing with it, she became a leopard lady with spots all over her body and sharp claws. She leaped into the air and rushed over. She viciously waved her sharp claws, sweeping towards Princess Sisai's delicate face. At the same time, she scolded, "Smelly whore, are you making me itchy? Let me use my claws to help you feel better." Princess Sisai was preparing to send this slut flying with a punch. Suddenly, purple flames soared to the sky. With a flash of a blade, Yu Yang had already acted first and chopped off that woman's claws. That woman fell down heavily, howling in pain as she rolled on the ground. Yu Yang was unmoved as he stepped on that woman's chest. Princess Sisai, Yu and Yu Bing immediately heard the sound of ribs breaking. Immediately, that flirtatious woman's blood-curdling screams stopped. Fresh blood spurted out from her mouth. Yu Yang raised his leg again and kicked that woman's chin. Countless broken teeth and fresh blood splattered all over the ground. That Oxhead warrior rushed forward, waving its axe to chop Yu Yang. However, before it could even raise its axe, its head had already been chopped off by Yu Yang. Yu Yang turned around. The Oxhead warrior's headless corpse fell to the ground with a loud thud. Yu Yang whistled as if he had not done anything. Holding the Hui Jin magic blade that was dripping with fresh blood, he walked toward Xie Qianqiu, who was dumbstruck and couldn't believe his own eyes. Xie Qianqiu suddenly reacted. He was so scared that his heart was about to explode as he turned around to escape. However, when he turned around, he saw Yu Yang standing in front of him with a smile on his face. That smile was like the smile of a demon. Xie Qianqiu could no longer hold back the fear in his heart when he saw Yu Yang. His urine drenched his pants, dripping onto the ground. When Yu Yang raised his blade, Xie Qianqiu roared and jumped up high. He was prepared to use his super jumping ability to escape from this terrifying place. He did not have the courage to attack Yu Yang at all. This was because he could clearly see that this pretty boy had chopped off the bronze-ranked level 4 Oxhead warrior's head in one move. This kind of enemy was not someone he could deal with. Hence, the only thought in Xie Qianqiu's mind was to escape. "Clown, continue your performance. I haven't seen enough." Yu Yang appeared in the sky in a flash. With a swing of his blade, he smashed Xie Qianqiu's nose bridge, causing Xie Qianqiu's strong gorilla-like body to be smashed onto the ground. "Spare me!" Xie Qianqiu's begging voice was silenced by Yu Yang's stomp. It was like a toad being stepped on by a human. When Yu Yang let go of him, all the teeth in his mouth were broken, and blood spurted out from his mouth. Yu Yang shook his head when he saw this, as if he was still not satisfied with the strength of his attack. He then stepped on Xie Qianqiu's fingers again, one by one, patiently breaking his fingers until they became minced meat. At the same time, he said indifferently, "Cry, cry as much as you want. Cry louder. Yes, just like that. Actually, you can cry louder and scream even more miserably. If there was a pig-slaughtering scream in between, then it would be even more perfect." Yu Yu was afraid that Yu Yang would kill Xie Qianqiu. Although she hated trash like Xie Qianqiu, if he was killed, the Xie clan would definitely fight the Yu clan to the death. She was not willing to let the Yu clan have a strong enemy because of her. Seeing Yu Yang raise his blade, she hurriedly called out, "Don't kill him, this kind of trash is not worth your time. If the Yu clan can't even protect a woman, then how can they be called the Four Great Clans? They should just be called the Coward Clan." Yu Yang laughed coldly. He waved his hand to signal Yu Yu not to care about him. He used the demon blade to pry open Xie Qianqiu's pants and laughed. "I thought it was some kind of huge monster bragging so much. You dare to say that you are a banquet for 1,000 women with just this little ham? You can't even compare to young Master Guanxi. What are you so arrogant for? There's no other way. If I don't open your eyes, you will probably die with regrets. Open your eyes and see, you should have killed yourself long ago." Yu Yang started to undo his pants. Princess Sisai and Yu Yu saw this brat's inappropriate actions from the corner of their eyes. They both blushed and spat lightly. As for Yu Bing, she lowered her head even more, not daring to turn her head. Yu Yang did not care about what the three girls were thinking at this time. He slowly undid his pants. Human cannon, level 1 ready. Human bubble, level 2 ready. Human cannon, fire. He arrogantly peed on Xue Qianqiu's tattered mouth to his heart's content. In the end, he even shook it comfortably and pulled up his pants. Seeing that Xie Qianqiu was pretending to be dead, Yu Yang called out to Hui Tailang. "Hui Tailang, have you eaten barbecued ham before? Today I am in a good mood, I will personally roast one for you to try." The purple flames in his hands soared to the sky. Xie Qianqiu originally wanted to pretend to be dead to avoid this disaster. Even if Yu Yang peed on his mouth, he would still pretend to be unconscious. Now that he heard barbecued ham, he was so scared that he quickly stood up and ran for his life. Yu Yang laughed coldly and kicked heavily, breaking Xie Qianqiu's spine into a few pieces. He then flipped Xie Qianqiu, who was howling miserably on the ground, and stomped on the bird and its eggs, turning them into minced meat. He then threw a ball of purple flames and started to roast them. The smell of burnt meat spread everywhere. Hui Tailang saw that there was only charcoal left. Where was the barbecued ham? Using its claws to scratch the charcoal, it realized that there was nothing good to eat. It looked suspiciously at its master. Yu Yang gave it a kick. "I made a mistake and burnt it, can't I? There is no barbecued ham. This fellow has meat everywhere on his body. Can't you just eat a meal?" Hearing this, Hui Tailang did not hold back. It opened its big mouth and started to bite Xie Qianqiu's body. The three girls had already run far away when Yu Yang took out the human cannon. They waited for him from afar. Although they were far away, they could still hear Xie Qianqiu's miserable cries from afar. They did not think that Yu Yang was cruel. Instead, they felt that it was very satisfying. They started to discuss softly again. The three girls all thought that if a bad guy met with an evil person like Yu Yang, it would be the biggest misfortune of their lives. For trash like Xie Qianqiu, who was hated by others, no matter how much Yu Yang tortured him, it would not be too much. The only thing that worried Yu Yu was that the Xie clan would definitely come looking for them in the future. What should they do when that time comes? Seeing that Yu Yang had returned, Princess Sisai could still hear Xie Qianqiu's miserable cries. She asked curiously, "Why didn't you kill Xie Qianqiu? With your abilities, you could have completely destroyed his corpse with just a wave of your hand. Why did you leave him alive?" Yu Yang first reached out and caressed Yu Bing's head, comforting his sister. Then, he smiled at Princess Sisai and Yu Yu. His smile was as bright as the sun. "I don't go and provoke others, but others shouldn't provoke me either. Whoever dares to have any ideas on me or my family, I will kill as many as they come. Xie Qianqiu won't be able to live. I will only let him die longer and in more pain. At the same time, I will also give a warning to the world. I don't care how they fight, but don't ever have any ideas on my family. Otherwise, even the God of Heaven won't be able to stop them. The Xie clan is nothing. If they come, if they want to reason, I will reason with them. If they want to fight with fists, I will fight with fists. If they want to touch me, I will destroy their whole clan. Everyone has one life, who is afraid of who? Xiao San, you have grown up. Compared to before, you have really changed a lot. Thank you for helping me, if not, I would have." Yu Yu was so emotional that she covered her face and cried. "Brother, I support you." Yu Bing was definitely Yu Yang's #1 fan. The Xie clan isn't considered strong, but there should be a big power behind the Xie clan. Princess Sisai reached out and hugged Yu Yang's shoulder. She nodded at Yu Yang half jokingly and half seriously. "I have been quite bored recently, so I will accompany you to go crazy for once. How about it? Am I good enough to be your brother?" "Brother, let's go drink, we won't go home until we're drunk." Yu Yang was prepared to make this rouge tigress drunk. As long as she became a drunk cat, wouldn't she be at his mercy? Princess Sisai did not need to use her 6 records inherent skill to understand this brat's perverted heart. She was speechless. Chapter 206. He was worried that the Xie clan would take revenge on Fourth Mother and the little girl. Yu Yang hurriedly returned to White Stone City. Most of the things in the house had already been moved away. Fourth Mother and the little girl had also been sent by the old cunning fox to fetch them. A few elders were left behind to guard the house. After asking, he found out that they were the relatives of the tavern girls. They were old and reluctant to leave White Stone City to live in Shangjing. Hence, they willingly stayed behind to look after this small garden for Yu Yang. Yu Yang originally wanted to comfort them, but when the words reached his mouth, he didn't know what to say. In the end, he, Princess Sisai, Yu Bing and Yu Yu went to the market and bought a few big bags of daily necessities. Although the old cunning fox had left them enough money to ensure that they didn't have to worry about anything, the elders still accepted it happily. What they wanted was more of a caring, not material things. Yu Yang prepared to return to the Yu clan castle to see if the Xie clan was up to something. At the same time, he wanted to warn Elder Yu Hai. He didn't want the Xie clan to attack the Yu clan. The Yu clan still didn't know what had happened. Before he left, Yu Yang looked at the few elders who were sending him off at the door and said, "My sisters risked their lives to save Fourth Mother and my sisters' lives. From now on, they are my sisters and you guys are my elders. You guys can live here peacefully, this is your home." The elders burst into tears when they heard this. The old lady leader nodded her head and sobbed, "Don't worry, young master. We old bones will take care of ourselves. Young master and miss, please take care too." After leaving White Stone City, the 3 girls' eyes were red. The sympathetic Yu Yu even wiped her tears a few times. These elders had sacrificed their daughters for the Yu clan, but they didn't ask for anything. When Jun Wu Yu wanted to bring them to Shangjing to live comfortably, they rejected him and would rather stay in this small garden. When he returned to the Yu clan castle, Yu Yang didn't see Fourth Mother. She and the little lass had already been sent by the old fox to a secret place to live in seclusion. No one knew where they had been sent to. The substitute clan master Yu Shan wasn't here, and second uncle Yu Ling wasn't here either. Elder Yu Hai had personally sent forth mother off to live in seclusion and hadn't returned yet. Yu Yang was speechless. With such an empty Yu clan, if the Xie clan's experts were to attack them, who would be able to stop them? Although there were 12 elders, 3 of the great elders did not manage the affairs, and a few of them were old and worn out. As for the rest, Yu Yang took care of 2 of them. If the Xie clan really sent 2 level 7 overlords to their doorstep, Yu Yang reckoned that the Yu clan castle would be filled with corpses and blood. On the other hand, Yu Tian and Yu Yen were at home. They were waiting for their clan's puppet beasts. Due to their great loss in strength, this year's 100 schools elite competition was about to begin. If they didn't rely on their puppet beasts to keep up appearances, they would probably suffer a crushing defeat. To them, who had been in the top 10 for a long time, this was unacceptable. Now that Yu Yang had returned, they naturally did not want to provoke Yu Yang, this devil. Hence, they avoided him. Yu Yu and Yu Bing went to pay their respects to the female elders in the clan. When they came back, they brought back a piece of bad news. Fourth uncle and Miss Feng's condition seemed to have worsened. Miss Feng had already brought fourth uncle back to the Feng clan. Yu Yang was surprised. Didn't they say that fourth uncle's condition had improved? Why did it worsen again? Why don't we go and see what's going on? Yu Yang felt that something was wrong. Fourth mother had been kidnapped and had just been rescued. Now, fourth uncle's condition had worsened. This was too much of a coincidence. It's better to go and take a look now. Maybe we can help. Princess Sisai knew that Yu Yang had a medicine encyclopedia. Although it might not be useful, they could still try their luck. The most important thing was that fourth uncle had gotten into trouble because he wanted to buy the Spirit Beast Awakening Knowledge Pill for Yu Yang. Yu Yang should go and visit him. This was the basic duty of a son. The only thing that Princess Sisai was worried about was that Yu Yang and Yu Bing might receive some bad news. Especially for Yu Bing, she might not be able to bear it. Without stopping, they rushed to He Yang's Feng clan. He Yang's Feng clan did not have a huge castle like the Yu clan's castle, but their house was very big. They could be considered as one of the most famous families in the area. When the Feng clan's clan master heard the news, he welcomed Yu Yang and the others into the hall. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he invited Yu Yang to one side to talk. Yu Yang did not understand this old man. What could he not say in front of Princess Sisai and the others? When he followed the Feng clan's clan master into the inner hall, this old man who was originally in good spirits suddenly sighed, as if he had a belly full of bitterness to pour out. Feng clan master, if you have something to say, please say it to me. Yu Yang still did not know what this old man meant. You are a junior, so I should not say it to you. But, Sai, you are the only male in the fourth branch, so I still have to say it to you. The Feng clan master invited Yu Yang to sit down. He muttered to himself for a while and said, "This matter has been going on for so long. I think you can guess it in your heart. My little girl and your fourth uncle have already reached their limit. I'm afraid they won't be able to hold on for much longer." What? Yu Yang was shocked and stood up immediately. Sai, we have fallen into the enemy's trap. It's already too late to realize it now. The Feng clan master's expression was sorrowful as he let out a long sigh. Didn't they say that fourth uncle had already recovered? Yu Yang could not believe his ears. They said that fourth uncle had already recovered. Why was there such a grievous news now? Yes, we all thought that your fourth uncle would get better. But we did not expect that the enemy did not use one type of poison, but two. The first type, the queen bee's poison, is used to suppress the second type, the 100 rigid worm poison. When the queen bee's poison gradually dissipates, the second type, the 100 rigid worm poison, which has been lying dormant for a long time, will take effect. This kind of poison is not strong at first, but as long as the person sleeps, its toxicity will increase. You also know that your fourth uncle has been unconscious for a long time. The poison has already entered his vitals and is incurable. The enemy's actions are extremely sinister. Even if we know about it now, there is nothing we can do. The Feng clan master sighed as he sat beside Yu Yang. His face was full of sorrow. 100 rigid worm poison. Yu Yang had seen it in the medicine encyclopedia and knew that it was a type of slow-acting poison. When it first enters the body, the poison is very light. But it will grow and seep into the body. As long as the patient is unconscious, it will quickly spread. When the patient is unconscious or asleep, it will grow crazily. In the end, it will turn the entire person into 100 rigid worm like a zombie. This poison was not a product of the soaring dragon continent. 1,000 years ago, the Xia emperor was poisoned and died. Innate rankers joined hands to investigate and found out the truth. Only then did they know that there was such a vicious poison in the world. It was said that this 100 rigid worm poison required the brain matter of 100 people to grow 100 goo worms. The goo worms would then devour each other to become the king of goo. The king of goo worms was raised using demon blood, dragon saliva, witch poison and other things. It was also refined using a secret technique. Finally, it was ground into powder. Once a person took a little bit of the powder, they would be poisoned by the 100 rigid worm poison. 100 rigid worm poison was also one of the 1,000 goblins' sect's 100 poisons. Its only weakness was that the poison's incubation period was extremely long. The longest incubation period could be as long as a few months to 2 years. The longer the incubation period, the stronger the poison. Yu Yang's fourth uncle had been poisoned for almost a year. In addition, he was unconscious for a long period of time, causing the poison to worsen. No wonder the Feng clan master sighed. Although the 100 rigid worm poison is one of the 100 poisons, it doesn't mean that there is no cure. Yu Yang remembered that the medicine encyclopedia mentioned that there was a kind of medicine that could resist the poison. If he could get this medicine, even if he couldn't cure fourth uncle, he believed that it was possible to save his life. There was another way to save fourth uncle, and that was to kill the person who raised the poison. That person had the 1,000 poison parasite mother in his body. If he killed him, the 100 rigid worm poison would be greatly alleviated. Normally, the person who raised the poison would also have a secret goo pill. Although the medicine encyclopedia did not record that the goo pill was effective against the 100 rigid worm poison, Yu Yang felt that he could try his luck. Are you talking about the bone-eroding dried heart fern? The Feng clan master sighed. The only place in the world that had the bone-eroding dried heart fern had already been burnt down. The spirit herb sect that collected this medicine had more than 10 disciples killed. Their storage room was robbed and all the medicinal herbs and poisonous plants, including the bone-eroding dried heart fern, were all wiped out. The Gold Gu Miao clan that was on good terms with my clan, their Gold Gu elder was killed, and not a single Gu pill was left. Even his corpse was melted into a pool of blood. If it wasn't for the fact that I was in such despair, how could I just sit and watch? It's so bitter to see a white person die before a black person. Why did the enemy target my fourth uncle? Yu Yang was extremely puzzled. Fourth uncle was so ordinary, why did the enemy target him? And fourth mother, what was her identity? Yu Yang realized that there was a big picture. The enemy was arranging everything, including the pitiful guy's annulment of the engagement, drowning himself in the river, fourth uncle's ambush, poisoning, kidnapping of fourth mother, and so on. All of these were part of the big picture. The Feng clan master paused and looked at Yu Yang. Suddenly, he said something that shocked Yu Yang. Maybe the enemy suspected that your parents were still alive and had been protecting the Yu clan from the shadows. So they did all kinds of things to force your parents to show themselves. You must know that your mother was the only person in the entire soaring dragon continent who had entered the inner layer of the god's ruins. Anyone who wants to enter the inner layer of the god's ruins must first find your mother. Yu Yang was dumbstruck when he heard this. Now, He realized the importance of the 2 diaries that the pitiful guy's parents had left behind. The diaries definitely recorded the secrets of the god's ruins. One of the countless information in the diaries was the body fusion that no one in the entire soaring dragon continent knew about, and the black and swarthy ordinary black jade necklace. Sealed within it was Queen Vivian Lee, who had been in a deep sleep for 10,000 years. Now, Yu Yang suddenly understood why the pitiful guy would be framed to annul his engagement and drown himself in the river. So it was all the enemy's doing. My father and mother, what kind of people were they? Yu Yang was very curious about the pitiful guy's father, especially his mother. This was the first time he heard about her. She was actually so powerful, she was actually the only person in the world who had entered the god's ruins. No wonder Elder Yu Haiyan Fourth Mother did not say anything about it, there was actually such a secret hidden inside. Your mother is a mysterious woman, I don't know much about her. I have seen your father before, I have watched him grow up. You look very similar to him, just that you are more handsome and your skin is also a little better. Maybe you even look a little like your mother. Your father was a brave and unparalleled man, he was fearless. It was just that he was too stubborn, that's why he passed away early, making people feel very sad. Your grandfather, if it wasn't for the death of his beloved son and the loss of hope, he wouldn't have become so dispirited. I have known your grandfather for 100 years, but I have never seen him like this before. If your parents were still alive, how could there be anyone in this world who would bully them like this? After the old man finished speaking, he waved his hand again. I am old, your grandfather is also old. You children should take care of yourselves. If you can't win, you must remember to endure it. Where there's life, there's hope. You should go and meet your 4th uncle. He must have something to tell you. Yu Yang said his goodbyes and left, still thinking about the old man's words. The pitiful guy's parents were actually such people. Looks like there were countless secrets hidden in the 2 diaries. Only by unraveling those secrets could he find out the truth. If the pitiful guy's mother was such a person, then what secrets did her younger sister, 4th mother, have? Chapter 207. Yu Yang, Yu Bing and the others went to Miss Feng's room to see 4th uncle. 4th uncle was still in a deep sleep, lying quietly on a rattan chair. Beside him were 2 letters, written for 4th mother and Yu Yang. This 4th uncle's appearance was younger than Yu Yang had imagined. He was handsome, with a mustache similar to Lu Xiaofeng's. He wore a white headscarf and a green robe. Half of his body was covered by a blanket. If it wasn't for his weak breathing, he would have thought that he was taking an afternoon nap. His skin was slightly pale from overexertion of vitality. Faintly, there was a deathly aura that a healthy person didn't have. Yu Yang stretched out his hand to sense it and found that it was more serious than he had imagined. The venomous core and the bone-corroding dry fern might not be able to stop his condition from worsening. It seemed like there was only one way to save 4th uncle, and that was to kill the person who was raising the venomous core and dig out the myriad poison venomous core from his body. Miss Feng was a young married woman wearing plain clothes. Her appearance was not bad, but she looked a little haggard. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying. When she saw Yu Bing, she gently hugged her and choked with tears. She didn't tell her the truth, but comforted her softly, saying that she would definitely cure 4th uncle, so that Yu Bing could rest assured. Princess Sisai and Yu could hear the sadness in Miss Feng's voice. Yu Bing was still young and hoped that her father would recover. She didn't doubt Miss Feng's words and only nodded. Miss Feng hugged her and wiped her tears a few times. She then signaled Yu Yang to come over. What made Yu Yang feel strange was that she didn't mention 4th uncle again. Instead, she asked about Yu Yang's daily life, hinting that Yu Yang had to take responsibility for the family in the future and fight for the 4th branch. Yu Yang didn't need to check her pulse to feel that this Miss Feng had also been poisoned by the 100 rigid worm venom. It was just that she already knew about it and was on guard, so the poison was mild. It's okay. Come visit your fourth uncle again when you have time. Just now, he was still talking about you. Now that he's tired, I won't wake him up. Miss Feng handed the letter to Yu Yang. It seemed like she was handing over her will. Yu Yang took the letter and looked at her bulging belly. Miss Feng waved her hand slightly. The baby is safe, don't worry. Hearing her words, Yu Yang felt that after giving birth, this young lady from the Feng clan might die of love. This was probably the reason why she allowed the 100 rigid worm poison to enter her body. Now, Miss Feng could be cleared of suspicion. She shouldn't be the one who set up a trap to harm fourth uncle. However, she was also plotted against. After Yu Yang left the room, he took the opportunity when the three girls were still talking to Miss Feng to read the letter that fourth uncle had left for him. There were 2 types of words in the letter. It was written by fourth uncle Yu Ling. He said that he was very pleased to know that Yu Yang had worked hard. He also refused to let Yu Yang investigate this matter. He said, "You have to be the master of the family and take care of your family. Take care of your fourth mother and your 2 sisters. Take care of them as your priority. Don't be reckless and take revenge. Otherwise, you will fall into the enemy's trap and cause more trouble. The enemy is extremely powerful. Even with the power of the Xia Kingdom, it would be difficult to fight against them. The last thing you can do is to jump out of the enemy's trap and save your family's lives." He also told Yu Yang 2 secrets. One was that Yu Qiu had left a gift for his son somewhere in the 5th floor of Tong Tian Tower. He said that it would be useful when his son entered the 6th floor of Tong Tian Tower. The pitiful guy's mysterious mother said that in the god's ruins there was a special passage that she could not enter. She hoped that her son could go in and investigate the truth. The last part of the letter was written by Miss Feng. Miss Feng said that there was not much time left. She was afraid that the 100 rigid worm poison would spread, so she would bring fourth uncle to a tomb to hide and wait for it to end. As for the baby in her womb, if it was a boy, he would be sent back to the Yu clan to continue the bloodline of the 4th house. If it was a girl, she would be raised by the Feng clan. She hoped that Yu Yang would take care of his younger brother or sister for the sake of his fourth uncle. Her words were sincere, making Yu Yang feel that Miss Feng was indeed a good mother. At least when she decided to die for love, she still thought of her children. "I have never doubted that you are a good brother. Since you could bring your fourth mother and sister back to the Yu clan castle, I know your character. In the future, I hope that you can take care of them. Brothers should support each other, sisters should depend on each other." Miss Feng ended the letter with this sentence. She also had the intention of entrusting her future baby to Yu Yang. It seemed that she had already decided to die. Yu Yang did not speak for a long time. Was there really no way to save the situation? Could it be that he had to watch fourth uncle and Miss Feng die quietly like this? Was there any other way to think of? There was still time. If he could not use his full strength now, then couldn't he think of a way to recover his innate strength after 3 months? Yu Yang was a little unconvinced in his heart. The enemy's poisonous trick had stumped him? There must be a way. This was a slow poison, not a strong poison that would kill him immediately. There were still a few months left. As long as he could find the person who planted the poison, there would still be a glimmer of hope. Even if it was an innate rancor, hadn't he killed Tu Cheng and Quang Zhan, the 2 innate rancors before? At the very least, he had to put in some effort and not give up easily. Outside the hall, the Feng clan master patted Yu Yang's shoulder. He did not say anything, but personally sent Yu Yang, Princess Sisai, Yu Yu and Yu Bing off. When he returned to the Yu clan castle, he discovered that the Yu clan village at the foot of the mountain was in a mess, as if a hurricane had passed through. After asking, he found out that the people from the Xie clan had already been here. They aggressively attacked the clan warriors who blocked their way and smashed many shops, claiming that they wanted the Yu clan to hand over Yu Yu and their adulterer. However, the Xie clan still had some misgivings and did not attack the Yu clan castle. The Yu clan warriors were very gloomy, because the one who caused trouble was not Yu Tian, Yu Yan, Yu Bao or the abnormal third young master Yu Yang. It was the most obedient and gentle Yu Yu. They definitely did not believe that Yu Yu would have an adulterer, because the second miss had always been with Princess Sisai. Furthermore, everyone had seen Yu Yu and Princess Sisai returning together. There were only 7th Miss Yu Bing and the abnormal third young master, Yu Yang, accompanying them. How could there be an adulterer? They firmly opposed the Xie clan's vile act of tarnishing the second Miss' reputation. Even an idiot would know that the Xie clan and the Yu clan were enemies. They must have purposely found an excuse to cause trouble. The Xie clan's leader, the level 7 overlord, Xie Tu, did not take action, but the clan warriors from both sides had a huge battle. The Yu clan suffered a small loss as the Yu clan village was smashed. When Jun Wu Yu and Elder Yu Hai heard the news and rushed over, the Xie clan had already left. What actually happened? Elder Yu Hai found Yu Yang and asked about the Yu clan village being smashed. I don't know. I brought second sister and Bing heir to see fourth uncle. The princess was also with us. Yu Yang expressed that he was a good boy who did not fight, so he did not know what had happened. Grandpa, it's my fault. Yu Yu was not like Yu Yang who would lie without blinking. She knelt down and told the whole story honestly. Princess Sisai was afraid that she would be punished by Elder Yu Hai, so she repeated Xie Qianqiu's words. When Jun Wu Yu heard it, his expression changed. He realized that the Xie clan's provocation towards the Yu clan was not simple. There must be a powerful force behind them. Even without the incident with Yu Yu, they would still find another excuse. Yu Yu's unexpected provocation was just a catalyst. Elder Yu Hai looked at Yu Yang and suddenly asked with an inquiring tone, Xiao-san, what do you think? Yu Yang was a typical violent person. Others had already come to bully him. What else was there to say? Of course he would beat him up until his own mother could not recognize him. Yu Yang coughed slightly. Everyone knows that I am a pacifist. I am kind-hearted and do at least one good deed a month. For example, helping an old lady cross the road. I am also very tolerant. Normally, when others hit my left cheek, I would extend my right cheek to let them hit me. Everyone was speechless. If you were a pacifist, then there would be no warmongers in the soaring dragon continent. Princess Sisai glared at Yu Yang. She nodded lightly at Elder Yu Hai. If the Xie clan wants to fight, we will fight. Jun Wu Yu sweated profusely when he heard this. It's fine if you help them secretly, but you can't even say we now. You are not even a part of the Yu clan yet. Your Majesty, why don't you act as a witness for both our clans? Elder Yu Hai was unwilling to drag Jun Wu Yu into this. If the Xie clan dared to provoke the Yu clan, it was obvious that they were not afraid of Jun Wu Yu's support. This matter could not involve De Xia's royal family. Otherwise, the entire soaring dragon continent situation would be in chaos. He realized that the Yu clan had reached the edge of a cliff. If they were not careful, the whole Yu clan would fall into a bottomless abyss. Brother Hai, you don't have to say any more about this matter. We are bound together for good or bad. Jun Wu Yu smiled faintly. The head butler asked for an audience with a flustered expression on his face. Looks like the Xie clan had made a new move. Elder Yu Hai waved his hand to signal the head butler not to say anything. He turned to look at Yu Yang. Xiao-san, bring your sister away first. This has nothing to do with you juniors. Yu Yang nodded, of course. You are the clan master, of course I will listen to you. He stood up and walked out. Yu Yu and Yu Bing looked at him. Something's not right. Did this brat change his personality? Why was he so obedient? Only Princess Sisai chased after him and shouted, Hey, don't act recklessly. Before she could finish her sentence, Yu Yang, who had walked out of the study room, had already disappeared. Elder Yu Hai and Jun Wu Yu looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Although they knew that this brat would not listen, they did not expect him to have such a reaction. At the foot of the mountain, more and more Xie clan experts came with their warriors. They had already passed the Yu clan village, and were approaching the Yu clan castle on the mountain. The Yu clan's warriors had no choice but to retreat due to the enemy's strength. The two elders looked at Xie Tu, who was a level 7 intermediate overlord. Although they were unwilling, they could only signal their warriors to retreat and wait for reinforcements. A level 7 overlord was not something that the two of them could fight against. Xie Tu did not make a move at all. As a level 7 overlord, just his aura alone was enough to completely overwhelm the other party's warriors. Just as he was feeling pleased with himself, a shadow suddenly flew down from the mountain. Purple flames soared to the sky like a meteor, causing him to shiver. The Yu clan's experts had finally appeared. The purple flames twisted into the shape of a dragon in midair and rotated. Just as Xie Tu leaped up and was about to block the attack, the person suddenly disappeared. When he appeared again, he was already above the Xie clan's warriors. The purple flame storm slashed down from above, blood splattered everywhere. At least 20 of the Xie clan's warriors were killed on the spot by the purple flame blade. On the ground, other than the decapitated corpses, there was a long dividing line. Yu Yang stood on this blood-stained dividing line. He held the Hui Jin magic blade in his hand and snorted coldly, "Anyone who crosses the line, no matter who it is, will be killed without mercy." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.